What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 588 of AskGSM here today for Wednesday, March 4th, 2025. I'm Graham GSM Matthews. I am fucking freezing. I don't know about you guys. I know it's the middle of winter here over here in the Northeast, but I am fucking freezing because hell officially froze over on Saturday. John Cena turned heel. That's our first time talking about it here live on the channel for the first time since Elimination Chamber. The shocking events that transpired to close that show. I watched it with Alexis. I watched it with Nick. We all share the exact same sense of shock when that show is over. And not only that, we got a new Women's World Champion coming out of last night's Monday Night Raw. Io Sky beating Rhea Ripley in what I would consider an upset. Not that Io Sky is an underdog by any means, a former WWE Women's Champion in her own right. I had no expectation that she was going to end that show on Monday night as the new Women's World Champion. So, literally, in the blink of an eye, Triple H has significantly shaken up the road to WrestleMania. I'm going to have a lot more to say about all of that here on today's show, as well as on Wrestle Rant Radio on Thursday. So if you like the live streams that we do, first of all, I appreciate you. Second of all, be sure to like the video if you haven't already. I saw a whole bunch of people already like the video before we even went live, which I'll get to in a second, as to why we're going a little bit later on than usual, which I'll talk about in a moment. But if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. I would appreciate that. And of course, I say it every single week. If it isn't already obvious, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell button to be notified every single time we go live, every single time we upload a new video here in the channel, which is pretty much every single day. So if you haven't already, please do that. I would appreciate it. Like I said a moment ago, I was actually going to go live about an hour ago. Typically, we try to go live around 11 a.m., 12 p.m., so just for those that look for that sense of rhythm as to when you can expect the streams for hashtag and Wrestle Rant Radio on Thursday, which actually will be earlier on Thursday. Mr. Marceau's got a scheduling conflict. We're going earlier than usual on Thursday. That should be on around 8 a.m. Of course, if you can't join us live, you can always check out the stream after the fact and the audio of Wrestle Rant Radio on all your usual podcast platforms. But if you do want to join us on Thursday to talk about Io Sky, new Women's World Champion, John Cena's heel turn with Mr. Marceau, that's going to be on around 8 a.m. Eastern on Thursday. And Mr. Marceau has a lot to say specifically about, my mic is quiet, Alexis is telling me. I think it's a technical issue. That is honestly the least of my worries right now. I'll try to boost it a little bit, at least for today's stream. My mic was not really working all that well before we went live, so I'm trying to boost it, see if that makes a difference. But anyway, so Wrestle Rant Radio Thursday with Mr. Marceau, obviously a big Io Sky fan. We were just saying the last couple of weeks, Io Sky probably will not end up in an important WrestleMania match. She could still soon lose that Women's World Championship. Back to Rhea Ripley. I guess we'll find out in due time, but as of right now, she's headed to WrestleMania. If you want to hear his praise for the title change, tune into the show on Thursday. But like I said, I was going to go live about an hour ago, had a bit of an abrupt dilemma. Literally right before I was about to hit the record button, something came up like that took an hour of my time, so I apologize for going on later. I had scheduled the stream for like 12:15, and now it's fucking 1:20 here on the East Coast. But no restrictions. I'm not going to be here for 5 hours, but if you guys got questions, want to join us, please do so. Hit me up in the chat if you're joining live. If you got a question, I'll read through the chats and all the questions that I have sent in prior to today through X and Facebook and YouTube. If you want to send in a question to the show ahead of time to ensure that it gets on the show, you can tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. Find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. Drop a comment on the post I usually put up on Monday nights, if not on the wall itself. And last but certainly not least, drop your comment down below in the comment section, or your question down below, rather, in the comment section on this very video. If you're watching after the fact, I'll include your question in next week's edition. So we'll get right into it here. We'll go through the chat stuff. I know a whole bunch of people sent in chats before we went live here, including Fernando. Fernando was the first in the chat, saying, "What's up, everyone? Can't wait to discuss the shocking incident that we witnessed Saturday night." We'll get into it. Obviously, it's the headline of the video, which Johnny actually referred to in his comment. Johnny, thank you for sending in the comment. Thank you for joining us as well. He said, definitely top 5, because the topic of today's video, where does John Cena's heel turn rank amongst the most shocking of all time? He says top 5. He also asked, do you think WrestleMania 41 is too far away from Elimination Chamber 7 weeks apart? Yeah, it's far, but honestly, it gives them more time to stretch out stories. So, yeah, it's far, but honestly, I think if there's any pay-per-view that you can kind of put away further from Chamber, it would be WrestleMania. just because it gives us the next 7 weeks. It makes every Raw and SmackDown feel important, first of all. And second of all, it gives you more time. Like, for example, if we had Elimination Chamber a month before WrestleMania, you have a fucking month to build up that John Cena heel turn. Like, we're now getting John Cena and Cody Rhodes, which we kind of already expected. What we did not expect was heel John Cena versus babyface Cody Rhodes. We'll get into that here today. So, no, I don't think seven weeks is too long, specifically for this WrestleMania. It gives them more time to stretch out the stories, develop them a little more, as well as make the matches mean more as opposed to scrambling and putting matches together at the last second. Now, there is such thing as making a pay-per-view too far away from another pay-per-view, and then you reach a certain point where you're just ready for the show. There's nothing more they can do to get you excited, but I think 7 weeks is the sweet spot. Nick is joining us as well, saying, it's time to play the game. Ha ha! Listen, Triple H, I did not know your game, pun intended. Triple H, I did not know your game. I didn't think he was completely going to switch up on us with the John Cena heel turn, which I still think doesn't make a whole ton of sense. We're going to get into it. I still have a lot more reservations about that, and I'll probably go into more depth on Thursday. But Io Sky, new women's world champion, that for sure I did not see fucking coming. The John Cena thing we had said, definitely not going to happen. It did. But the Io Sky thing, quite honestly, and the F-bomb that preceded the Cena heel turn probably shocked me more than what we saw with the Cena heel turn itself. I that's crazy to say, I know, but Triple H is shaking things up. For all the shit that we give him for shit that doesn't make sense, and there is still a lot of things that don't make sense, you got to give him praise as well for the shit that he's gotten right, as well as everyone else behind the scenes that put that shit together. Alexis also joining us saying, hey, she was right, by the way. She wanted me to point that out. We will address that specifically on Thursday. I had some people hit me up and say Alexis was right. Because listen, I said here on the show, whether it be last week or the week before, right after the Rumble, that she was fucking wrong. I didn't think she would be right about John Cena turning heel. What a blasphemous thing to say. And then he did turn heel. And she was right. So I do owe her a, not a steak dinner, because she doesn't eat steak, but I owe her something. I now owe her a favor. I'll Paul Heyman and CM Punk. So she was right on that front. And, I'll talk more about that on Thursday. But she also said driving home from work because my allergies are getting the best of me today and I feel like shit. I already knew that because she had told me previously. But yeah, hopefully you feel better as we get along here in the stream. A lot more people joining us. Millennial Noob saying, hey, Graham, how you doing today? I am doing well. I was doing well. I am still doing well. Like I said, I had a bit of a hiccup, not literal hiccup, but before we went live, not a technology thing. Something completely swerved me. I won't talk about it here, but I was just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, really? And hopefully it gets handled. But I wasn't anticipating that to start my Tuesday. So hopefully everything should be okay going forward, though. Richie said, we are so back. He also said, hashtag Alexis was right. Richie was one of the people who hit me up. He texted me right after the show, not only about the turn we were talking about, but also the fact that Alexis was right. Listen, a deal's a deal. She was right. She wasn't in the fucking trenches with the rest of us for the last 20 years. She has been a fan now for a while, but she has not been in the trenches with the rest of us for the last 15, 20 years that gave up on this a long fucking time ago. So for anyone thinking that you cannot sit there and tell me that you actually thought he was going to turn heel. I know she predicted it, and I thought it was a chance. I didn't think it would actually happen. Because we've been teased about it so many fucking times. Why would it happen now when it just doesn't make sense? But again, we'll get into it. Wrestling Fan 13 also joining us saying, what's up, Graham? How's your day going, man? It's going well now. Thank you, Wrestling Fan, for joining us. Richie says, howdy, Chad. Ahmed said, Graham, I hate to say it, but you were right on the Cena turn. I never thought it would ever happen. I was not right. I said it would not happen, especially on his retirement tour. I thought it was fucking stupid to turn him heel on his retirement tour. I still feel a certain way about that. Again, we'll get into it here today. If you guys ask questions about it, then I'll answer it, but otherwise I'll probably save those in-depth thoughts on it for Thursday's Wrestle Rant Radio with Mr. Marceau. Alexis was more right than I was. I called her foolish for thinking that it would actually happen, but it did. At this point, expect anything, I suppose. Richie said, Graham, I've been waiting all morning for this stream. My workday's been dry as hell without some Wrestle Rant. Thanks, Richie. I appreciate that. Richie also put up a most recent video. Check it out. I retweeted the link, but you can also find it just by clicking on his name in the chat. Richie does great content, so he has a lot to say about everything that we saw over the weekend and everything that's still going on the road to WrestleMania, so check out Richie's content as well. Does great work. Emmanuel A. joining us. He said, yo. He also said, random question, but did you hear about WWE 2K25 adding online multiplayer for my GM? I did. I did hear that. I don't know how that's going to work exactly. I saw certain things like where you can't watch matches, which is the whole point of what I do in GM mode here on the channel. But it's worth a shot. I feel like doing online GM mode would be pretty fucking cool. So I did hear about it. I don't know if I would stream it here for the channel. But if anyone wants to face me in online GM mode, I don't go for ratings. I go for logic. And if you just go for ratings and do fucking Iron Man matches every week, it's not going to work to me. That's just fucking boring. But I do logical storytelling. If you watch my shows, I'm not number one in the rankings from GM mode. But if you watch hashtag GSM for GM, no pun intended, or no, plug intended, I guess, suppose. I go for logic. So we might check out the multiplayer component at some point. AJ Watson, thank you for joining us. He said, hot take, Cena will bring back the spinner belt when he wins 17 or have a modernization of it as an FU to the fans who didn't appreciate it. Honestly, the spinner belt is so fucking garbage that if he brought it back as a heel, that is the ultimate heel move. So honestly, that is the only circumstance in which I would be happy that he brings it back, albeit temporarily. So honestly, I'm totally okay with that. That is, I've seen other people say that, and I think that'd be a really good idea. A lot of people here in the chat. I appreciate you joining us. I'll get to all of this stuff in a second before we start answering questions that were sent in previously. Ahmed said, it took him long enough, but Triple H is finally building excitement for this year's WrestleMania build with the unpredictability. I mean, a lot more. It has been more unpredictable in the last 72 fucking hours than it has been for the last month or two. I mean, Jey Uso winning the Rumble, let's not kid ourselves, was also unpredictable. You cannot sit here and tell me that you could have accurately predicted the last two endings of both of these pay-per-views if you sat here 2 months ago. If you sat here 2 months ago and told me, okay, Jey Uso's going to win the Rumble and John Cena's turning heel, I would have banned you from the chat. I would have called you fucking crazy. We would have done the shame on you shit and just called you nuts. But no, it actually did happen. Both instances actually happened. So for a company that has largely played it safe for the last number of months, they pulled off quite the shocker with that shit. I'll give them that. Wrestling Fan 13 said, oh my God, last night's promo from CM Punk was one of my favorite promos he's cut in quite some time. Pissed Off Punk is the best version of Punk. Bro, that opening was fucking awesome. They fucking nailed that shit, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. They did a really, really, really good job with that opening segment. I thought that was excellent. Punk's passion, his intensity, his aggression, his frustration was fantastic. I was already hyped for what he's going to be doing going into WrestleMania, whatever that might be. But that took it to the next level. That was one of the best Raw opening segments, which we've gotten a lot of great opening segments recently and over the years. That ranks up high with some of the best. That was just incredible. Just incredible must-see television. I already love Punk anyway, so I'll watch anything he's in, but that was just next-level shit. Millennial Noob said, if you thought the John Cena heel turn in the Women's World title change last night was shocking, guess what? Natalya is wrestling in an NWA ring at the Crockett Cup in May this year. Yeah, that news just broke in the hour in which we were not recording. I was going to go live about an hour 15 ago, and now we're live now, obviously. I saw that. I saw Natalya is actually wrestling for the NWA. No, she's not left WWE. Obviously, she just re-signed last summer, last fall, whatever it was. She's also wrestling for Bloodsport, too, the GCW, sub-promotion, the MMA promotion that they do with, the hard-hitting matches and shit that they do. I saw that, which isn't overly shocking, just because they've done other people from WWE in Bloodsport in recent years. The Natalya and NWA thing really shocked me. Because we've talked about it before, WWE doesn't really gain anything from working with the NWA at this point. I've said that before. I think it was Millennial Noob who also asked me, I can't sit here and say, I can't poo-poo on anything anymore because this company is going to turn around and fucking do it. Anything has been proven to be possible at this point. So there always has to be a chance that it could happen. I can't even sit here and say, oh yeah, that's ridiculous. They're fucking doing it. That's not quite on the level of the John Cena heel turn, but and Io Sky beating Rhea Ripley. But Natalya wrestling for the NWA is indeed shocking, just because the NWA's exposure, buzz is at an all-time low. I almost consider just giving up on watching and reviewing the show altogether. But then I see that, I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool. I don't know how that was worked out. I don't know if they asked for Natalya or, why would WWE say yes? At least TNA has television and they have some sort of buzz. This is not a big... It's the NWA. WWE, to my knowledge, has never worked with the NWA to this extent. That's pretty fucking cool, and it's a great fit for Natalya, who's doing nothing on television at the moment. So I thought that was pretty awesome when I read that. Muhammad joining us saying hi. He also said, I hope you are doing well, man, as well as your weekend, and same with everyone else here. Say hi to Muhammad in the chat. Say hi to No L also joining us, but AJ Watson, thank you for joining us. I mentioned that earlier. He already sent in a comment before. But he said, do you think Travis Scott will have backstage heat for what he did on Saturday? I mean, it's hard to have backstage heat if you're not an in-ring competitor. I mean, if he's not there weekly, then why does he give a fuck? Like, if he's not, like, what heat could he possibly have? He's probably not going to have backstage heat. They know accidents happen. He should not have hit Cody the way that he did with the ruptured eardrum. That was just fucking stupid. It looked tough, like it looked, a little too aggressive. Maybe Cody told him to lay it in. We don't know. But either way, that was pretty dumb. You don't want your WWE champion getting injured with a month to fucking go until WrestleMania. That'd be pretty stupid. So no, I don't think there's going to be any backstage heat. It's Travis Scott. I don't give a fuck about the guy, but like, he's obviously a big star, and they want to continue using him, and you probably saw that report that he was training for an in-ring match. Who gives a shit? I mean, there's a lot that will gain a lot of mainstream attention. I don't really give a shit myself, but he's going to be doing something physical at some point, so hopefully gets his ass kicked for that shit. Noel said, I had a feeling Cena would turn heel, but teaming with The Rock did not see that coming. Me either. Quite the shocker. Ahmed said, we need a live reaction of Graham reacting to Cena's heel turn. I'm not, so, two things. One, I didn't think it would actually happen, so I wasn't recording my reaction. I mean, I did kind of think for like a very small second when Cena was still, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I told you so, because I definitely did not think they would actually do it. But when Cena was still standing in the ring when The Rock came out with Travis Scott, I'm thinking, maybe they will actually go through with this. And they fucking did, which is nuts. I don't typically do live reactions. I know we did a watch-along for Vengeance Day a couple of weeks ago. That was fun. But, like, I don't know. WWE, I would feel weird starting now doing live reactions because I feel like it would be interpreted as an opportunity to get on TV. Like, I feel like now that WWE endorses the streamers, which is cool, because a lot of them do good work. I think most of those reactions that they aired on Raw last night were genuine, but I could see a lot of, like, fake streamers, fake reactors and shit starting to film themselves reacting to shit and being over the top just to get on TV. Like, I don't want to see that shit. Hopefully we don't get to that point. I didn't really mind it last night because John Cena's heel turn is legitimately one of the biggest moments in company history. So they're obviously going to play it up. That didn't really bother me. I will do live reactions when I'm at the shows and I'll film. I typically won't really film myself. I feel like that's weird. I don't really think anyone gives a shit what I think of this stuff in the moment. If we do a watch-along, that would be cool. I just don't like doing watch-along sometimes because I prefer to just hang out, watch the show, or do work, during the show or afterwards. So that's why I didn't do one for Elimination Chamber, but that would have been crazy, though. Nathaniel said, I would love to see Cena wear his Peacemaker costume. Yeah, it's not going to happen, but that would be pretty fucking cool. There's definitely like a trademark or something on that, but Cena coming out with the Peacemaker costume would be one thing. John Cena coming out with the Peacemaker theme song. Alexis and I pitched this years ago, like in 2022 when the show came out and it was airing when the Rumble season was happening. There were fans at that point, so I think it would have gotten a cool reaction. Like trademarks and stuff, I don't know if that they would have been able to do it, but as like a way to promote the show, that would have been funny. If Cena came out, but as Peacemaker, I think that would have been cool. It's never going to happen at this point. But then again, never say never, I suppose, right? Dylan, thank you for joining us. He said, what do you think of Io winning the title last night? First of all, Dylan watched Raw this last night with Alexis and I, and then he went to bed. He left literally as the main event started. Dylan, you missed the championship title change. You can never go to sleep. You can never leave before the show is over. No matter how predictable you think it might is, we missed Dylan's reaction because he left us before the match started, and it was a good match. But not only that, we saw the fucking title change, and we were like, what the fuck? I thought it was cool. I thought it was great. I would have had no issue with Rhea retaining because it was logical. If they can make this make sense, like I think Bianca and Rhea on paper is obviously a stronger match one-on-one, obviously. But I will not complain about Io Sky being involved because one, she's fucking great, and Triple Threat would be also awesome. Also, like we've said before, if they start the feud for Bianca and Rhea now, which they could still do, like Io could drop the belt right back to Rhea next week. We don't know what they have planned, which is, I like that. I like the unpredictability. What they could easily do is do the triple threat, save Rhea and Bianca one-on-one for a different year, next year, future year, whatever. Because it just didn't really feel right to me that they were going to it for this year's Mania. Again, would not have complained because, they had it's a massive match and it's a great match that we've been waiting a long time for. But the biggest thing about that match was that to me it would have felt rushed. It would have felt rushed to do it now I mean, yeah, we have 7 weeks until Mania. You could have, created an issue between the two, but it has not been teased at, or not been teased for a while. It's not been hinted at for a while. I'm glad that they're building towards it a little bit more by doing the triple threat instead. Also, this way, you can have Bianca win the title. Io's going to get like a month and a half title reign. I mean, does it even really matter? We complain about, too many long title reigns. And now, for the first time in what feels like forever, they're really switching things up by shockingly putting off a title change and putting the belt on Io. And then she's going to lose it? Yeah, honestly, I have no issue with that. Everything is circumstantial. I can't sit here and say every short title run is garbage. I cannot sit here and say every long title reign is great. It all depends on the circumstance. If Bianca wins the belt to Mania, which I do expect that she will, by pinning, and also goes heel, which would be awesome, and joining the Profits as far as that goes. But Bianca pins Io and remains undefeated at Mania, and you can build towards Bianca and Rhea for a later date. I like that a lot. So I thought the title change was a really nice, pleasant surprise. Nathaniel said, I was shocked when Cena turned heel. You and I both. Alexis said, I asked you this last night, but do you think that the retirement tour is a work because he's a heel? No, I don't. I also did not think he was turning heel. So, I mean, who at this point? I mean, like, who the fucking say at this point what's real and what's not? Am I real? Like, what's going on? But, no, I said this, and I've seen other people say that. She thought it would be garbage. I think that'd be fucking funny. If John Cena came out, not next week apparently, but on the March 17th Raw, if he came out and was like, I'm actually not retiring, that would be kind of funny. The thing is, do we really need John Cena beyond 2025 anyway? Like, in the ring, the guy's kind of washed. Let's be honest here. I don't know if we need an extended John Cena run, but it would be the ultimate heel move for him to say, I lied, I'm sticking around. So I wouldn't have an issue with it. I don't think that's where they're going with this. They have an entire year to tell the story. He'll be a babyface before the year is through. I just think it would be... I think it'd be funny, but I would also think it's weird if they're like, oh yeah, last Rumble, last Chamber, and then it's not. Like, that's just... That I don't like. Because they've built up those things as being his last time in those matches, it really should be his last time in those matches to really make them matter. Because if they lie about that, that kind of has... That I don't like. But he never said he was retiring at Mania. He always said it'd be December, and I still think it will be December. Nathaniel said, do you think Cena will be here, here, definitely not. I don't think he's going to be around every single week. But do you think Cena will be heel for a whole year? No, I don't. I think he'll probably go back to being a babyface. I think best case scenario to me is around SummerSlam. If not later, it would be nice. But I think he'll probably turn right back around SummerSlam and then endorse Cody and whatever, and then finish out the year as a babyface. He'll definitely retire, whether it be his last match or right beforehand, as a babyface. All right? What I've seen people say about Cena putting over Cody at Mania, and then, like, they do the kiss and make out thing where it's like the whole Rock and Cena thing from 29, which, by the way, was fucking garbage. If they do that shit where he just endorses him afterward, he loses... Yeah, the chase continues, but at this point, he's a heel. How the fuck do you go from one of the biggest heel turns of all time? That's like Hulk Hogan turning heel in 96, and then a month later losing to the fucking Giant and failing to win the WCW World title. It's stupid. That is completely stupid. Cena turning back to being a babyface by Mania would be an absolute fucking waste. Especially since he's not going to be on Raw until the 17th anyway, dude. Like, we might only get heel Cena for like a month. That would be... What a waste! It's better than nothing, I guess, but what a fucking waste that would be. So hopefully, at least it's for a few months. I cannot stress to you. I don't need water, I don't need food, I don't need sleep. I need nothing more. The only thing I need more than any of those things is heel Cena and babyface CM Punk. You cannot convince me otherwise. I could do without anything else in this world, aside from maybe Alexis, but I could do without anything else in this world except for heel Alexis, like I said, and then also heel Cena versus babyface Punk. That is what I fucking need on the Tuesday morning of March 4th. Don't do it today, but I'm just telling you, that honestly makes me more excited for this heel Cena thing than anything they can do. Like, heel Cena itself, I would have been more excited for. I would have jumped through a fucking window like a decade ago. But it just kind of feels like, we're doing it now. Like, oh, okay. It is interesting. But I just would have been more excited like 10, 15 years ago. But the fact that it's happening now, honestly, what makes me more excited for that is the fact that, we might get heel Cena and babyface Punk. Yes, fucking please. He even asked, are we getting Punk versus Cena versus Cody? I don't think so, but listen, I would not complain. Punk beats Rollins next week or whatever you want to do. What I think, honestly, what I think you can do, I didn't really think about this until this morning. I heard Solomonster talking about it, and I'm like, wow, that actually kind of makes sense. Because we're all thinking that we're going to get Punk, Roman, and Rollins. That's nice, but like, okay, what's on the line? Punk already has a favor. Is it for a title shot? Okay, cool. To cash in on the next pay-per-view? Like, who gives a shit? And like a hate-filled triple threat is cool, but those three should be fighting for a title. It won't be for a title, but here's what I'm thinking. And what Solomonster kind of said and other people have said. Punk wins next week, maybe with an assist, not because he's helping Punk, but because he fucking hates Rollins. Roman Reigns returns, helps Punk beat Rollins. We get Roman and Rollins at Mania, which honestly I want to see more than the triple threat. Just because Roman and Rollins have never had a one-on-one match at Mania. That is just, that would be also storytelling. I like that a lot. And then Punk moves on to cash in the favor on Cena and Cody. Him and Cody have already been teasing shit anyway. They've interacted a lot lately. He called out Cena in that promo last night, you bald fraud, or whatever the fuck he said. That was amazing. That whole promo was great. You could definitely fucking do that. And yeah, it could be a triple threat. Is it as strong on paper as babyface Cody and heel Cena? No, but honestly, throwing Punk in there, Cena may not be there every week to promote the match. Rock sure as fuck won't be. But you at least with Punk, he's there every week. So the weeks where Cena's not there, you get Punk and Cody as well. So I love that idea. I'm not getting my hopes up. Sounds like we're getting a lot of triple threats in Mania, a lot of multi-person matches, which I don't love. But Punk might still get his main event. I'm not going to say it's now or never, but like every year that goes by where it doesn't happen, the chances get slimmer. Because he's getting older, anything can happen. I think you should give it to him this year. I don't know if he wins. I think Cena should still probably win. But I would be on board with that. Fernando said CM Punk got the best promo since coming back to WWE, and he's got a lot of great ones. He's got a lot of great promos. I did a whole list to close out 2024 of Punk's best moments since returning to WWE, and a lot of them were promos. This trumps all of the promos he's got so far. That was amazing. Heel, pissed off, not heel, heel Punk too, but pissed off Punk is the best version of Punk. I like happy-go-lucky Punk, but pissed off Punk is even better. Richie said they can never make me hate Punk. Yeah, me either. Richie also said, you know what I was thinking this morning? We're possibly getting a heel Cena versus babyface Punk, which is wild, but we were robbed of a potential babyface Edge versus heel Cena. Crazy times that we're in. Yeah, I mean, it is a bummer that we're not going to get that, obviously. There's only so many matches you can do with Cena this year. We were not ever going to get all of them. I doubt we're getting Cena and AJ Styles. It's probably not happening. But if we did, imagine if we did. Rock likes to go like, oh, the goosebumps. No, that's fucking goosebumps. Babyface, AJ, heel Cena. Oh, sign me up, please. That'd be great. I think heel Cena versus babyface Punk is my number one. 1A, 1B is heel Cena versus babyface AJ Styles. Fernando said a lot of us were waiting for Bianca versus Rhea one-on-one. Last night's title change was BS. I mean, that's fine that you feel that way. Totally fine. I like Io being involved. They really switched it up. Honestly, I'm more interested to see what they do now because Bianca and Rhea kind of felt like foregone conclusion. Richie said, crazy. I was watching NWA clips this morning because it came up on my feed. Just saw how brown EC3 is, which is bizarre. But good for them, more exposure. Yeah, EC3 is a tan man. Richie said, I got to backtrack a little bit here. WWE is doing such good business by working with other companies. This would have never happened if Vince McMahon was still involved. I don't think so. I mean, Vince did allow the Mickie James thing to happen with her as Knockouts champion in the Rumble a few years ago. But to this extent, Vince would have, like the TNA thing, I can almost guarantee you probably would not have happened. Vince would have been like, absolutely not. What do we gain from this? What's the point? I think long-term they gain a lot. I think long-term they absolutely gain a lot. Wrestling Fan 13 said, now when The Rock showed up at the end of Bad Blood in October, he did the same hand gesture to Roman, Cody, and Jimmy, similar to the gesture he gave Cena before he returned. I still don't think that was the plan. You know, I've pondered maybe it was, and they knew back then. Did they really fucking think in October that Cena was turning heel? I don't think so. That's a really long time for that plan not to have leaked or something. I find that hard to believe. But it's possible. I'm sorry. I apologize for being skeptical of a company that fucking pivoted last year because their original plan sucked. And that was with Triple H involved. You can't even blame Vince for that. Richie said, wait, Cody got injured from that slap? Apparently, yeah, he got a ruptured eardrum, reportedly. Emmanuel said, not sure how much time I'll be here, but do you think Cody Rhodes' status helped the idea of Cena turning heel? The big thing against heel Cena in the past was that WWE didn't have another babyface like him. Absolutely. If this is 2025 and WWE failed to create any real meaningful babyfaces, they would have never turned Cena. Now or ever, forever, they would have never done it. Cody is that guy. Cody is more of a well-rounded, to me anyway, a better all-around company encompassing better booked babyface than Cena was or Roman Reigns was. Cena got booed half the time. Hogan at some point got... I mean, Rhodes will get booed at some point, but it is pretty honestly surreal the fact that he's been unanimously beloved for the better part of 3 years now. Like, there really has not been a show where he's gotten booed, honestly. Like, you think by now people would have gotten sick of it or something. They have yet to... Whether it be the booking or Cody himself or a combination of both, I'm reading the other chat, so I kind of got sidetracked there for a second. But yeah, I don't think it was ever going to happen. Unless they had someone like Cody in that spot, I don't think the heel Cena thing would have happened. But yeah, babyface Cody, being as beloved as he is, really added to that moment. They needed someone like that, because otherwise they would have just cheered Cena over fucking... If this was Roman from 2015, they would have just booed. They would have continued to boo. No one would have cared. They would have booed Roman and cheered Cena, which is not the reaction that you want. There's a chance, at least here, they're going to boo Cena and cheer Cody because they like Cody because he's genuine and stuff like that. Richie said he needs a receipt. F that. He's talking about Travis Scott. I agree. Fernando said someone from the wrestling world needs to give Travis Scott a receipt and make it look like an accident, old school style. Nick said, I saw Graham's reaction live. He had zero reaction, was just more shocked. All of them recorded reactions are bullshit. I was stunned silent. I was very surprised by that. I was very surprised. Some of the recorded reactions seemed genuine to me, but a lot of them are like, oh my God, like, I don't know. That probably would have been me 10 years ago, to be fair. 10, 15 years ago, I would have broken a fucking window. But at this point, I'm like, but I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see where this goes. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But, we'll give it some time. Fernando said, I appreciate you not going live just for attention reasons. Thanks for not selling out like Cena. Yeah, I feel like I'd be selling out if I would have recorded my reaction just for numbers, you know what I mean? Just to do numbers and just to go viral, which is, I'll tweet about it enthusiastically, but, I'm not going to, I don't know. Sometimes I'll do live reactions, but to do it every single week like some people, like I can't fake a reaction. What you see is what you get with me. Either I don't care or I'm just overly marking out, which is, that happens a lot actually. That wasn't the Cena reaction for me. I was more stunned than anything. Wrestling Fan 13 said, a continuation of my last comment, Rock not only put up 2 fingers, he said he only put up 2 fingers. What's the significance of the hand gesture, and does that allude to a potential third turn coming? I don't think it confirms that. I pointed that out too on Twitter, and people said, oh, he's always done that. I guess. I never really noticed that, but if he has, okay. I think he just did that. I don't think that was significant. I think he was just doing that to be different. I don't know. Is there a chance there's a third man? There's a very real chance, because if they're giving us the Cena heel turn now, what do you think they'll close Mania with? Again, if it's Cody beating Cena, and then Cena apologizes to Cody, they make out, and they fucking walk to the back together hand in hand, that would be stupid. That would be one of the worst endings in recent Mania history. Absolutely fucking not. Cena turning heel with an assist from like a Drew or a Seth or a Punk, if Punk's not involved, or someone else, would be insane. That would be crazy. So, yeah, I think there's a chance. Orton, a lot of different options, honestly. It could be someone younger, but, it's got to make sense. Nathaniel said, I wonder what Cena's new song and pants gear will be. He better get new shit. We'll talk about heel Cena in a second. Someone asked about, what do they got to change about Cena? Everything. The answer is everything. Fernando said, Cena needs to change his attire and the way that he looks for his new character. Like Nathaniel said, I also agree with that. Ahmed mentioned, I think we got to blame Chris Van Vliet on Cena's heel turn a year ago. He interviewed Cena and told him What if we lived in a world where both Cena and Rock were both heels? He definitely got the script. Yeah, I saw that clip. He was interviewing him for Ricky Stenicki or whatever that movie was. I didn't see it. But, and he mentioned that, and Cena didn't say, oh, yeah, that would be crazy. He just went off to talk about why, what would need to happen for him to turn heel, all this other sort of shit. But yeah, Chris called it. Kudos to CVV for calling it. JCW555, what's going on, my man? He said, hey, Graham/everyone. Welcome, JCW, to the chat. Hope you're doing well, my dude. Fernando said, Bianca and Rio, like Rio from AEW. I was mixing Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Bianca and Rhea are two of the most over and most dominant women in history. Going at it, that's the story. Doesn't need anything else. I get that. I think you can build more storyline. I mean, yeah, it sells itself, I agree, but you could definitely make it more interesting if you hold off on it and build towards it a little bit more. Just my opinion. Nathaniel said, I want Cena heel turn to last until SummerSlam. I'm not sure for the whole year. That's fine. Yeah, at least until SummerSlam. It better not be fucking WrestleMania. Noob said, I heard that Asuka is going to be returning post-Mania 41 because WWE ain't rushing her return, but fans ain't pretending that this isn't her first time missing WrestleMania. I was thinking about that as well. There's no real spot for Asuka on the Mania card. She's not competing for either of the world titles, in which she's done that before Mania anyway. There's no obvious spot for her, unless you were competing for the tag titles, which would have been fine. But I was thinking, when was the last time Asuka missed Mania? Because I think she's been at every Mania. But I think she missed Mania in 2022 because she was around that summer before, like, teaming with Naomi, I think. Because she was obviously at 39. She faced Bianca for the Raw Women's title. And then, was she at Mania last year? Yeah, she did. She was in the 6-woman tag against Bianca and Jade and Naomi. So she was at 39. She was at 40. She was at 37 facing Rhea. 38, I think she missed. She was at 37. She was at 36. She was in a tag title on that show with Kairi Sane. She was at 30. No, she missed 35 too. Or actually, no, she was in the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, right? On the pre-show, so technically she was on it. 34, she faced Charlotte, and that was her first one. So yeah, she missed Mania in 2022. This would be her second one. Wrestling Fan 13 said, what if Money in the Bank takes place in Chicago this year, and we get heel Cena versus babyface Punk? You're asking what if? You know what would happen? I would buy a fucking plane ticket. I just bought it, actually. Me just talking about it just now, I think I just activated Siri and bought the plane ticket. If that were to happen. But I already reserved that weekend, whenever it might be. I am fucking there. I missed it the first time. I ain't missing it the fucking second time. JCW555 said, I feel like Cena has to, A, win at Mania. I agree. And B, turn later than SummerSlam. SummerSlam is the earliest. I think we can agree on that. I think later than SummerSlam would be nice. But, anything earlier than that would be just fucking ridiculous. Wrestling Fan said, what's going on with the Becky, Cora, Roxanne, and CM Punk Twitter situation? For those that missed it, Punk and Roxanne, I don't know if they did this on purpose, but they were wearing matching gear. Someone tweeted a picture of them wearing matching gear. And this was after Punk had called out Becky. Not called her out on Raw, but he had mentioned her when talking about Seth. They go like, oh, come get your man, because if you don't, he'll end up in a wheelchair, blah, blah, blah. Nothing really like, and he's also mentioned her in other promos before, but nothing like salacious or whatever. So Becky responded to this tweet from this fan saying that Roxanne and CM Punk matched. I don't know if that was intentional or what or whatever. And then Becky said, oh, you're telling me to go get my man. I think AJ should come get her man. Like your wife should come get you or whatever. And then she deleted it. And then Cora also tweeted and said something, it was like one or two words, like really, or something like that. Or like, I forgot what she said, but it was something like she kind of subtweeted about the situation. She also deleted that tweet. Cora Jade is not going to be involved in this fucking angle. Let's put it that way. But I thought that was, it was interesting. If we get Becky and AJ out of this, sign me the fuck up. I don't think that's the plan, but hey, at this point, anything can happen. Clark Kamengo, it's great to see you, dude. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. Always great to see you. He said, I think John turning heel is up there, is very shocking, was so good. The execution was great. I'll give you that much. Talk about where it ranks in a moment, in a little bit. Fernando said, if we get multiple triple threat title matches at Mania, it'll be very lame. That is lazy. I agree with that. They gotta, I think, honestly, anything more than one triple threat is fucking lazy. If you do a triple threat in a four-way, okay, that's one thing, but like a couple, like at least two different triple threats, I don't like that. Nathaniel said, we're probably not getting Rock versus Roman this year. Probably, we're definitely not. But maybe we get it next year. Otherwise, I don't know. I honestly, at this point, I doubt that. I'm not even sure that we're getting it. Like they should have done it this. They should have done it fucking last year if it made sense. They should have done it 5 years ago. To be fair, they fucking didn't. But yeah, Rock and Roman. At this point, I have no idea. Nathaniel said, "Is Jade heel now after Elimination Chamber?" No. Jade Cargill he's talking about. No, I think Naomi's the one going heel. I don't think Jade. Why would Jade turn heel? I know she was wearing black and whatever, and Naomi didn't act like she did it, but Jade turning heel to me would make no sense because she was the one attacked. Like it really should be Bianca and or Naomi. Daniel Malcolm with a salute in the chat. JCW said if they don't book Rhodes being Super Rhodes, then I feel like Cody won't be booed like Cena was. I agree. They can avoid it. Like Cody Rhodes has been champion for a year, but he's still not getting booed because he's out there showing vulnerability, and there was a lot of reasons why Cena was getting booed. It was a different time, but his booking also did not help. He won in a lot of situations where he should not have. I think Cody, honestly, like if you want to get him booed, he beat Cena at Mania. I think people want to see Cena win at this point, now that he's a heel, ironically enough. If he was not a heel, I would not have wanted to see him win. But now that he is a heel, I think he's got to win. Daniel Malcolm said, surprised you didn't go live after EC, LOL. I was watching the show with Nick, but also I was watching the press conference, and then I had to work on an article after the show was over. So, I mean, I even said ahead of time, like, it would have been nice, but it just didn't really work out logistically. It would have been fucking nuts. I also feel like everyone was live after the pay-per-view. It would have been fun, but, like, I just had other shit to do. I went to bed at, like, 5:30 as it was. I went to bed extremely, extremely late because I was excited about what we saw. I was intrigued, but I was also working on an article, too. Clark said, Graham, what is your prediction for Punk in WrestleMania? Do you think it'll be Seth versus Punk? With Pierce's after next week, it's over, it's done last night. I'm curious what you think. I forgot about that. They're definitely not doing Seth and Punk one-on-one at Mania. They're doing it next week because there's one of two things happening, which I think is more likely is number one. One, they're going to do the triple threat with him and Roman and Seth. To say that it's over, it's done, and then it continues is kind of stupid. So the fact that he said that makes me hope Punk wins or whatever and then moves on from Rollins and then cashes in the favor to end up in the Mania main event. That would, I mean, he also got fucked at Chamber, to be fair, by Rollins. That really wasn't his fault. He got fucked over. I mean, I guess Damian Priest also got fucked over, but whatever. At least Punk has the favor. You could work him into Cena and Rhodes. It could work, honestly. Like, there's a chance that they can make this work. So I love the second option. The first option's fine, but I like the second option a lot more. Fernando said, do you think that there's a chance Cena's heel turn is just for a month like Shawn Michaels versus Hogan after SummerSlam in 2005? Yes. There's a very real possibility it lasts that short. The difference there, though, is that Shawn was a heel for a long time in the 90s. Like, we got a sustained heel Shawn run in the 90s. We have never gotten a heel sustained Cena run as a main eventer in 20 fucking years. So the Shawn run being short, I wasn't a fan at the time. I wasn't like watching, so I can't really tell you. In retrospect, it's disappointing they could have run with that for a bit as opposed to immediately going back to being a babyface. Because maybe they wanted to do him and Hogan, but Hogan was like, oh, he's got to turn heel, which is just whatever. That's fucking weird. But anyway, I just feel like there's a big chance Cena might go back to being a babyface after Mania, which would be a massive mistake. Fernando said, I think, unless it sucks. If the heel turn sucks, then turn him back. But if it doesn't, why would you cut it short like that? Fernando said, I think we're getting a corporate faction assembled by The Rock and led by Cody, and joining them will be Kevin Owens, Drew, and Seth. That's a lot of people to put in a faction, though. KO, Drew, and Seth hate the fucking bloodline, so that would make a lot of sense. But I feel like to throw KO, Drew, and Seth, and Rock and Cody, like that's a 5-man group of all main eventers. I feel like that's too many people. But they could make it make sense. Richie said, the thought of Cena and Cody making out is sending me LOL. I mean, that's what it feels like. That's what it fucking feels like. Gotta backtrack a little bit. Nathaniel said, what if The Rock helps Cena win 17? I mean, obviously, I think he should. Not only should The Rock help him, what I think could happen, I think there's a chance this could happen. You have Rock out there to help Cody, obviously. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out. We get the cameo that we did not get last year. Stone Cold comes out, thwarts The Rock, and just when you think it's a fair fight, a third man in the Cena Rock stable, no, not Travis Scott, a third man comes out and helps Cena win. Who that is, I don't know for a fact. Like I said, we kind of batted around some ideas. That I feel like would be cool. I feel like that's how you have Cena win. Cena's not going to beat him clean, obviously. I don't think he should. Him winning would just be. I don't love the idea of just Cody winning and that being it. That would just be disappointing to me. You don't want to have people turn on Cody now. That would be ridiculous. Fernando said Saturday night was Bash at the Beach 2.0. It was. It was the WWE version of Bash at the Beach in 96. Daniel said, how do you feel about none of the involved parties being on Raw after such a big moment? It was disappointing. If you want to wait 1 week, that's fine. Cena will not be on Raw for 2 weeks. He will not be on next week. The Rock really should be on next week. But you know what? Punk's promo, honestly, was hot enough addressing the situation that it kind of made up for it for me. I don't like the fact that Cena... I mean, Cody not being on the show, like, obviously. Will Cody be on SmackDown? He probably should. SmackDown will probably be business as usual with more bloodline dissension. Like, who cares? They really should have Cody on that show. But yeah, Rock should be on in the meantime to kind of bridge the gap while Cena's gone. But I don't know if they're going to do that. Otherwise, they feel like they would have probably advertised them for Raw for next week. Fernando said, where do you rank this heel turn from all the other great heel turns? I actually wrote an article about it for Bleacher Report. I'll answer that question when we get to where it ranks the most shocking. Because I feel like they're two different questions, but I'll kind of answer it then. Wrestling Fan 13, with Rey Fenix no longer under AEW contract, do you think we're getting the Lucha Bros versus New Day at Mania? It's possible. Definitely possible. I feel like Phoenix could come in after Mania. We don't know. Lucha Bros and New Day would be sick, though. Fernando said, more shocking heel turn, Hogan joining Hall and Nash or Cena joining The Rock. Talk about that later on. Emmanuel said, leaving for work, but have a great day at work, Emmanuel. Thank you for joining and sending in the question. He said, but do you think Sami Zayn will still get a spot at WrestleMania, or should WWE keep him away until after 41? The only spot at Mania that makes sense for him at this point is against Karrion Kross, and that doesn't really feel like there's so many other matches that we can get at Mania before that one. I think Sami, honestly, just keep him off the card. He'll miss Mania, but he got his Mania moment the last 2 years. It's really not that big of a deal if he misses this year. So, he might be fucking pissed off about it, but there's no logical spot aside from a match with Karrion, which I'd be fine with. I just don't see them making room for what feels like a Raw match, unless they can really heat it up in coming weeks. Nathaniel said, you still want to see Becky versus Lyra at Mania 42, if not at 41? Yeah, I think Becky and Lyra's got to happen at some point. I still think there's a chance it could happen at Mania this year. I thought Becky might come out last night. She did not. But where better to bring her back than at Madison Square Garden? I don't know if Lyra's in the ring doing a segment or what. I think Becky could be back next week. If Becky's not back next week, I'm kind of skeptical that she's coming back at all before Mania. You guys asked me a couple of weeks ago, will she be back before, at, or after Mania? I said definitely before. And it's March 4th and she's still not back. So I'm thinking next week might be the last chance for her to come back. Could she come back a week before Mania? Sure, but like to do what? If they're going to put her on the card, I feel like next week would make sense. If she's not on next week to confront Lyra or do whatever, it's probably not happening. Backtracking a little bit here. Richie said, Graham, are you and Alexis going to Northeast Wrestling's WrestleFest at the Westchester County Center in White Plains on May 10th? Clark also said, Cora said on Twitter, weird behavior. That's what she tweeted, before also abruptly deleting it. But for Richie's question, we would like to. They have a pretty stacked show. They're doing a show in Danbury the week before on May 3rd, and then that show a week later on May 10th. I want to go to both. The second one sounds awesome, but not only that, that is the same building, actually, that we saw a TNA show in, the TNA 1000 episode, TNA Impact 1000, or it was Impact Wrestling still at that point, back in September of 2023. And it was a great venue. It was an easy drive. It's like an hour and a half away from us. It's not that far. There's a chance. It's not confirmed that we're going. I don't know if I would go to both shows, but I would like to because it looks awesome and it's not that far. And I know that area. We walked around in the area before that show a couple of years ago. So it's on our to-do list. Fernando said, I think we're going to get a corporate faction assembled by The Rock and led by Cena. I mentioned that one earlier. Fernando said Naomi is the Rikishi of the story. She could be. Very possible. D Professor, he said, "Hey, buddy, how are you?" D Professor, great to see you in the chat, my man. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Thank you for asking. Wrestling Fan 13 said, "What do you think is inside the box Chad Gable opened from last night's Raw?" Probably a lucha mask. If I had to take a guess, probably a lucha mask would be my guess. I feel like Lucha Gable would be a lot of fucking fun. I don't know where like they would go with it or who we would face or what the deal is, but that vignette was really well done. I think that's where they're going with it, is him wearing a mask. Let's see, backtracking a little bit. Richie said the third man can be Dennis Rodman. Yeah, hey, run it back. I asked like last week, like what would be the WCW, like what would be the WWE equivalent of today for Dennis Rodman to come in? There were a few names I just didn't know who they were, but a few people I would be familiar with if they came in. Richie also said, "Fuck it, the third man is Ava Rain. Then we get a fourth, four roots, and the Rock is the tree." I think Richie's onto something. 4 roots, 1 tree. If you don't get the joke, watch back the stream from a couple of weeks ago. That was our inside joke for that episode. Now, Ava Rain is awful. So if they want to kill that storyline on command, get Ava Rain involved. Fernando Zayas said Cody should enlist Stone Cold to be in his corner at Mania. I mentioned that. Maybe not in his corner. I feel like a surprise pop for Stone Cold would work better. He comes out to thwart The Rock. Like basically what we should have gotten last year, but they couldn't do it. That would be fucking crazy. If Stone Cold does not come back in Mania or does not appear at Mania, then I just feel like he's saying, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to do it. Because why would he have not been there the last couple of years? Alexis, I don't think I called you... yeah, Fernando called her Alexa. I'll get to Fernando's question in a second. It's Alexis, obviously. She gets that a lot. She's very sensitive about being called Alexa. Anyway, Fernando said earlier... I already mentioned that question. Nathaniel said, "I'm excited for Revolution this Sunday. I hope Cope can turn heel after the pay-per-view." I don't know if he's turning heel. I feel like he's too much of a baby face. Like, they tried that in WWE, and I liked it, but, like, it didn't really work because people liked him too much. I thought the Judgment Day, when it first started, I was excited by it. And then they just, whatever. They blew it up immediately within a couple of months. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to Revolution this weekend. I'll talk more about it on Thursday's show. Fernando said Sammy can't miss Mania, or can miss Mania, rather. He will be okay. Unfettered missed a few Mania matches. Who is Unfettered? Is that a wrestler I'm just not aware of? Who is Unfettered? Becky returns next week for sure, he also said. Micah, great to see Micah in the chat. He said, "I'm hoping that they do CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Becky and Seth Rollins." Yeah, I like that, but where does that leave Roman? Like, I'm thinking I would love Roman and Jacob Fatu. But, like, at this point, it just wouldn't make sense because Roman he's been out for a month because of Seth Rollins. How the fuck does he come back and not go after Seth Rollins? It has to be Rollins and Roman, whether it be in a triple threat or a one-on-one at Mania. At this point, that is Roman's Mania match. Because anything else would just... I love that mixed tag team match, I really do. But you would have to get... Unless it's a triple threat tag team match with AJ and Punk, Becky and Rollins, and then Roman Reigns and his wife. Who is his wife, you ask? I have no fucking clue. But maybe they can... drag her out from the Roman Reigns household or wherever she is, and they can do a triple threat mixed tag and mate. Honestly, at that point, make it a fatal 4-way. Ask Tony Khan, hey, can we borrow Moxley and borrow Renee Paquette, call her Renee Young again? We get a fatal 4-way tag team match at Mania with the Shield and their wives and Punk and his wife. Honestly, at this point, why the fuck not? Richie said, "I might do both too, LOL. If you come through, we can hit up Elm Street Diner." That's a great idea. We can finally cross that off our list. I will let you know. That's coming up in 2 months, so I would like to do that show. Mike has said, "How cool would it be if it was revealed that Bianca Belair sold her soul to The Rock also? Rock, Cena, Bianca, and Travis Scott." That would be fucking crazy. I don't think so. I mean, Bianca, if she attacked Jade, that happened months ago before The Rock stuff even started. Bianca being in a stable that doesn't have Montez Ford in it just doesn't feel right to me. I feel like Bianca and Montez is the move as heels. I don't think Bianca turns anytime soon. But, like we said, never say never. Mr. Marceau, RJ, joining us in the chat, probably still not over. Io Sky winning the championship on Monday. He actually fell asleep, and I'm glad I did not spoil it for him. So I had just finished the show like an hour after it, right before like falling asleep. I texted him because I forgot to text him in the moment. I thought he was watching live at one point. Obviously, he fell asleep, which I did not know. But I needed to make sure because he didn't text me after the show was over. And obviously, as we established on Wrestle Rant Radio a week or two ago, massive EO Sky fan is Mr. Marcel. So I texted him. I didn't say, "Oh, EO new champ." That would have been shitty. And I just, I had to hold back for a second. So instead, I was like, "Did you finish the show?" That's all I said. Thankfully, he did not. So I didn't spoil anything for him by saying, "Oh yeah, EO new champ" or whatever. He caught up on it and was like almost. He said he fell off his bed when he watched it, which was really funny. So he is very happy. We'll talk to RJ about it on Thursday. Anyway, he said, have Lyra come out and say that she has beaten everyone and needs a new challenger, insert Becky. I love that. I was thinking that. The only issue with it is that Lyra has not beaten everyone. She's actually lost to Bayley and has not beaten most of the Raw women's roster. So she can't say that she's beaten everyone, but I understand your point. Wrestling 101, she declares that she has no challengers. Maybe she's being interviewed in the ring by Michael Cole or something, and that's when Becky comes out. I like that idea a lot, aside from the beating everyone thing. Fernando said, do you and Alexa, he said, it's Alexis, but that's what he wrote, ever have positive, healthy, heated debates about wrestling topics? Honestly, ever, like, you're saying it as if it's a rare thing. It actually happens quite often. We kind of fall in the same boat on a lot of stuff. If there's something that she likes that I think is fucking stupid or vice versa, I mean, it never gets hostile. She's never, I'm sure that's happened before. But, I come with receipts, and she's usually pretty good about stuff as well. I also think logically, too. Sometimes if I don't like something, I could see why they did it. She usually goes off of pure emotion. I mean, her opinions are usually pretty... She doesn't have shitty opinions for the most part. Really at all, I don't think. Off the top of my head. I think we like a lot of the same people, and we like a lot of the same shit that happens. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, but usually she's more like emotion-based. Like, she thinks something is fucking stupid, they shouldn't do it. But it might be just more so based on her own personal preference and not thinking bigger picture. And that's honestly most fans, though. That's not really exclusive to her. I'm not saying... I try to look at things from different perspectives, even if I think it's dumb. Like the Cena thing. I didn't really think the Cena thing was necessary. Nick was there, he could tell you. I was kind of like, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But I'm also thinking bigger picture and thinking, this could be really cool. If they do this properly, I will give this a chance. But yes, we get into quite a bit. Heated debates, positive, healthy heated debates about wrestling topics. Maybe one of these days on the stream, she'll obviously be back here on the show at some point. We can get into a topic about something. I don't know what that would be, but you guys can choose. Alexa said it's on site. For calling Fernando, for Fernando calling her Alexa. RJ also said karma for ruining the Cena turn. Alexis accidentally sent, because RJ also shit on Alexis for the Cena heel turn idea. We both shit on her on the show a couple of weeks ago. And, we both shit on her for it, and then she was right, so she has every right to throw it back in my face. What she did not know, though, what we have a process, RJ and I do, like I said with the EO thing, I try not to text him after the show is over, because he may not be watching live. Usually he either, and I'm always not watching live either, most of the time, for pay-per-views I usually do. For Raws, half the time I watch after the fact, or catch up later, whatever. SmackDown I rarely watch live at this point, because the show's just a fucking chore. But anyway, so she didn't really know that he probably wasn't watching live. And then she sent him a voice memo, like, yelling that she was right. He heard that, and that spoiled the Cena heel. RJ had the Cena heel turn spoiled by Alexis. So I guess karma works both ways. Because he was still in the middle of the match when he saw the voice memo. So, poor Mr. Marcel. Alexis mentioned, she said she did feel really bad about it, to the point where I was the bad guy when I brought it up. But she said I already scolded her about it. Yeah, I mean, she won't do it again. It's not that big. It really isn't that big of a deal. I would be more pissed than RJ's. If that happened to me, I would not talk to her for a week. But thankfully, that was not me. And unfortunately, it was Mr. Marceau, but all is forgiven, I'm sure. Nathaniel said, I was hoping we would see CM Punk versus Stone Cold one day, but not sure if that'll happen. Yeah, I don't think it's so at this point. I know we were pitching that when Punk first came back to the company. It just hasn't really fit in. Stone Cold would have to commit to it. He probably doesn't want to do it at this point. Could it still happen? Yes, it could still happen. Is it possible? Yes, it's still possible. Will it happen? Probably not. Would love to be wrong. I don't know how good of a match that would be in 2025, 2026. But, never say never. We almost got it in 2013. Or 2012, when I think it would have been 2013, and then it just didn't happen. Unfortunately. Mike has said, GSM, what was your reaction to the Cena heel turn? How did you feel about it in the moment? I actually did not love it. I thought the execution was cool. I was like, what the fuck? They actually did it. Because I thought while he was standing there, I'm like, I think it's got to be Cena, because why is Cena still there, you know? But I was like, because I'm thinking that's cool, but I'm also like, again, I've said for weeks, this just doesn't make sense. Why would Cena need to turn heel? Like, I'm just talking storyline-wise, for his final retirement year. Sell out. Like, he's already a bajillionaire as John Cena. He gains nothing from aligning with The Rock. It does make the Cody storyline more interesting. I'm just curious what his logic is for turning heel. If they can provide the logic, then it works. If they can't provide the logic, then it's kind of dumb. But we'll see. Backtracking a little bit here. JCW said, I know Austin had hip replacement surgery last year, so maybe that's why he was out. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the reason. I don't know if he ever explained it, or if it was, I don't remember. I don't remember what the reason was. I don't know if he just didn't want to do it, if the offer wasn't right. He has also said in interviews he doesn't want to travel. So that's also part of it. Vegas is right where he lives, so now he has no excuse. Wrestling fan said, will you be watching the debut episode of WWE Evolve tomorrow? Seeing as Gabe Sapolsky is overseeing it, I'm sure it'll be enjoyable. I really like the original Evolve product. No, I will not be watching Evolve. I just feel like it looks like a cool concept. Here's my dilemma, though. I already watch a lot of wrestling, okay? And for the longest time, I watched and reviewed 205 Live and Level Up and stuff like that because I started it. My issue is, when shows start, I need to see them through. That's fine for short-lived shows like Breaking Bad, which I haven't watched or started, but like if I start a show, I'll finish it. It's kind of an issue with wrestling because the issue with that, though, is that wrestling shows never really end. For me, like Level Up ended, Rampage ended, that was nice. I don't really want to get into watching another show, especially if it's like super significant, I will watch it. Main Event, the only reason why I stopped watching Main Event and stopped reviewing it in the last couple of months was because they stopped putting it on Hulu. They took it off Hulu. So now there's no easy way to watch it, so I'm not watching and reviewing it. Evolve, though, I don't really want to get into if I'm not going to, I just don't want to have to be like, okay, I got to watch Evolve now. You know what I mean? I'm sure it'll be a good product. There are people on the show that I know and enjoy. I also will say this. I don't know if Gabe Sapolsky is overseeing it. I know Evolve was his show. I was told that he has no involvement with it. So take that for what it's worth. That was not reported anywhere. That was something that I was told by an extremely credible source. That's all I'll say on that. But I was told Gabe Sapolsky he obviously works for the company, obviously. I don't know if he's overseeing it. Maybe that's changed in the last month or so since I was told that by a pretty reliable source within the company when I was talking about it to them. But I was told that he's not involved at all. So I don't know. I think the show will be solid though. Alexis turning heel as well. Clark said in the chat because they're getting her name wrong. Fernando apologized. Ray said Roman and Ava. Roman and Ava as the tag team at Mania. God, that would be fucking atrocious. Or is Ava Roman's wife's name? I don't know. I don't know what the name of his wife is. Mike has said, congrats to Alexis for the Cena heel turn prediction. Alexis said, thanks, Mikey, but I spoiled it for RJ. To hell I go. It's really funny. RJ said, Roman and Ava versus AJ and CM Punk versus Becky and Rollins. Ava Rain, that's definitely who you're talking about, RJ? Hey, hashtag booking. Mr. Marceau pulling up with these ideas. 4 roots, 1 tree. 4 roots, one tree. Why did I do this? It's doing the fucking rock thing. Oh my God, what a match! Imagine the promos. Imagine the Roman Ava promos. God, that would be iconic. Nathaniel said, "Would you like to see Karrion Kross join Judgment Day?" Wouldn't mind it, but I feel like he's better on his own. I don't think they need Karrion Kross. I feel like the whole devil on your shoulder gimmick that he does, I actually really like. The straight hair he's got going, he's a character. He's a character, and I'm digging it. That's just me. Richie said, whenever my wife and I talk wrestling, it always ends with her beating me up. Richie, we might have to call someone. Your ass better call somebody, as Road Dogg used to say. I mean, I guess that's better than you admitting that it's the other way around. I mean, that would be kind of a problem. But if your wife is beating you, Richie, just text me. I mean, I know your wife as well. I mean, I didn't think she was capable of. I didn't think she was the type of person to do that. Maybe she is. That's just whew. Richie. I feel like we need to make a call to an 800 number or something like that. Wrestling fan said, "What's your favorite Raw after Mania episode, Graham? Raw after WrestleMania was on a hot streak from 2013 to 2018. Do you think this year's installment will recapture that energy?" You know, I'm just kind of done wondering when we're getting back to the post-Mania magic. I thought last year's post-Mania Raw I really liked. It was the best post-WrestleMania Raw in years, but it just won't be remembered as being great. The post-WrestleMania Raw in 2023 was fucking garbage. In 2022 I liked, but it was far from memorable. Compared to the other ones, it wasn't great. 2021 had no fans. 2020 had no fans. Those were absolute trash. 2019 was good. 2018 was better. 2019 was the start of like, okay, this is kind of jumping off the deep end here. But overall, I like that show. That was my first post WrestleMania Raw attending. My favorite post WrestleMania Raw episode might be the 2013 one. And no, actually, I take that back. 2014. Paige debuted. That was cool. Bo Dallas revealed as being called up. Adam Rose got revealed as being called up. The Shield officially turning babyface. That was kind of predicted. That kind of was already in the works at that point, but that was a great show closing angle. The Warrior promo. It might be 2014. 2015 was also good, but there were certain things in 2015 I wasn't overly impressed with. 2012 I also really liked. 2012 was when Brock came back. That might be my favorite post WrestleMania moment. And that show also had some good stuff on it too. Rock saying he wanted the championship. That was notable. So probably either 2014, 2013, or 2012. 2016 was also good. 2017 was great. 2018 was great too. They just haven't. It has not been the same since then. Mike has said, "Man, it sucks that we won't get a Cena versus Edge feud or the roles flip now. What's one wrestler that you wish you could see Cena or face Cena as a heel, but unfortunately won't?" Edge would probably be the one, right? I mean, Punk, we probably will see. AJ would be great. I don't know if we're going to see it. AJ would be my answer, but there's still a chance that we could see that. Heel Cena versus babyface Orton would be surreal, but there's a chance that we could get that because Orton still works there and wrestles. I'm trying to think. You know what? Heel Cena versus babyface Kurt Angle. Brock is probably not going to happen. But I feel like that dynamic would be weird anyway. Heel Cena versus babyface Brock would be kind of cool just to flip. And heel Cena versus anyone would be cool just to flip reverse the roles. But you know what? Because we're never going to get it, because he's retired, heel Cena versus babyface Angle. I don't know when that would have been, maybe 10 years ago, but that would have been cool. Ricochet versus heel Cena would have been good also. Yeah, I mean, that would have been cool. Maybe not, that would have not topped my list, but that would have been interesting. Ricochet is also doing well as a heel right now over in AEW. Clark said, "Man, that 2013 Raw after Mania was incredible. How that Raw will be 12 years ago this year does not process in my mind." First of all, I agree, Clark. And second of all, Clark and I were friends even at that point. That is how far we have come specifically. We were talking on Twitter 12 fucking years ago. That's how old we are. That's how long we've been doing this shit. That's crazy. Do not remind me that it was 12 years ago. Mike has said, "I think Cena's logic is that he turned heel to protect Cody Rhodes. Basically, Cena is the lesser of two evils compared to the one Rock really had planned. Keep Cena babyface a bit for the eventual turn back to babyface later in the year." Oh, keep Cena babyface for the eventual, like, when he turned... no. If he did that to protect Cody Rhodes, that would be fucking ridiculous. If Cena's like, listen, if Cena's like, "Oh, I was just protecting you, but I'll proceed to beat the fuck out of you," that's just ridiculous. I think that logic would be ass. You can turn Cena without having him say that was the plan. If Cena's the inside man, because someone had suggested this on a show that I was on a couple days ago, and RJ said Ava, his cousin. Ava, oh yeah, God no. I forgot Ava and Roman were cousins. That would be awful. That would be awful. But anyway, if Cena reveals this was the plan the whole time, I think that would be garbage. So hopefully not. Like, "Oh, I was a babyface the entire time." Like, no, that'd be dumb. Fernando said, "Austin is my GOAT, and I don't want him having matches so late in his life. It would affect his legacy with a stinker match, not worth the risk, just joy in retirement." Well, here's the thing. He came back for that match with Owens. It wasn't like a match, but that was fucking awesome. For what it was, that was great. So people see that, and myself included, and think, "Oh, he could probably do this again." Honestly, though, he ended on such a high note with that Mania in Texas, no less. I would just end it there. But if we got Punk and Stone Cold, I mean, it could be a 2-minute arm wrestling match. For the promos alone, it would be worth it. Fernando said, no matter who wins between Cody and Cena, Travis Scott has to receive a crossroads before the night is over. I agree. Travis Scott's got to get his ass kicked. For beating the shit out of Cody at the Elimination Chamber, he's got to get his ass kicked. Absolutely. Because he should not be able to get away with that. Mike has said, are you reading any more lyrics later today? That's up to the chat. All right, so I think, let me check here for a second. Last week, we didn't even set a goal. So last week here on hashtag, spoiler alert, but last week here on hashtag, I read off lyrics to Jello Ball. Is that his name? RJ told me that was his name. Jello Ball's, whatever that song was. And WAP. I read off the lyrics to WAP. Okay? So this week, I'm going to make you work for it. If we're going to get that again, if you want me to read off lyrics to whatever song that you want, I think we're at 14 likes now, according to the back end of this video that I'm seeing here in front of me. If you want me to read off lyrics, we're going to have to work for it. We're at 14 likes now. I feel like 20 likes would be easy. 25 is tough because I don't want to have to read the lyrics if I don't have to. You're gonna have to work for it, and I just don't think we're gonna get to 25. I'm not playing mind games. I'm serious. I don't think we can get to 25 likes because I feel like if you're already here in the video, you probably already liked it. First of all, if you haven't, what the fuck? Please like the video. But anyway, if you want me to read lyrics, get us to 25 likes, and you can provide the song. I will not say. I mean, I will read the lyrics, but it depends, obviously, what it is. If it has, like, bad words, I mean, I'll read the bad words, but, like, bad words, I will not say. We made that clear last week. I'm not doing that. But, yeah, if you can get us to 25 likes, spread the word, create another account, whatever the fuck. If you can get us to 25 likes, I will read lyrics to whatever you guys want. Fernando said Aleister Black is a better pick for new Judgment Day member. I agree. Aleister Black as a new Judgment Day member would be very fitting, and that would be great. Richie said, no, I might lift weights and all, but it's a facade. She's stronger than me. Kidding y'all, by the way. She locks me in the basement. Oh, Richie. I got to come save Richie if he's locked in the basement. He brings up his wrestling takes, and his wifey disagrees with it. I guess she throws him in the basement. That is not good. We got to hashtag save Richie. Someone get over to Richie's place and fucking save him. He's locked in the basement as we speak, probably. I know he said it's been aborted. He's probably at work right now, but he might be using that as a cover just to say she locked him in the basement, and he had to call out of work because of that. I don't know. I'm not sure. Richie, you got to give us more answers here. Micah said, I like the 2015 cash-in where Brock flipped the table and wrecked all the commentators, F5 Michael Cole out of his shoes. Yeah, that was great. That was a great angle. Brock's first quote-unquote match. It wasn't a match, but first time advertised for a match on Raw in like 13 years. So that was cool. Wrestling fans said, damn, Karrion Kross's hair got long to think he was bald only 4 years ago. AJ versus Kross in a hair versus hair match. I don't want to see that just because I like Karrion Kross's hair. I don't want him to go back to being bald. And AJ being bald would be fucking weird. So hopefully we don't get that. But that would be quite the stakes because they both have long, luscious hair. So it would be certainly surreal to see one of them shave their head. Richie agrees that we need another wrestle rap session. Fernando said, Punk versus heel Cena, I think will be the first big feud after Mania. It could be, but you could honestly save that until SummerSlam or Money in the Bank. It does not have to be right after Mania. Assuming Cena's still heel. We don't know. Grunt is here. Average Grunt, the winner of the men's 2025 Royal Rumble game. The shirt should be on its way to you, by the way. I think by the end of the week, as I ordered it like a week and a half ago. It usually takes 2 weeks. Whenever you get it, let me know, but it should be in there like in a couple days. But anyway, he says, hi, you chat. Say hi to Average Grunt in the chat. Hope you're doing well. You got Micah said and Richie said, yo, yes, Fetty Wap. Is that the same thing as WAP? I thought that was the same. I thought, is Fetty Wap an artist or is that a song? I'm genuinely asking. I need to know, is that a song or is that is that an artist? I don't know. But Richie agrees. Yes, Fetty Wap. I will read whatever you want. If you guys can get us to 25 likes, then I will do it. Daniel said, we need more lyrics, Chief. Let me know what you want me to do. If we can get up to 25 likes, I will sing the lyrics. I will not sing the lyrics. I will read the lyrics. Fernando said Ava versus Abium for who puts more people to sleep. LOL. That's funny. Honestly, Ava would probably win. Mike has said I recently bought a bike from Academy and have been enjoying that as a new hobby. That's pretty cool. Do you think any new hobbies you want to get into for the spring and summer months? Maybe going fishing with Alexis or something. First of all, that's cool that you found a new hobby with your bike. Any new hobbies that you want to get into for the spring or summer? Honestly, the funny thing is, I have hobbies. I just don't have enough time for them with the other stuff that I do and other stuff that I prioritize over it. So, like, honestly, like to do in the spring and summer, read more. I've said this before, read more. And this is a weird thing to say, but play video games. I have plenty. Like, I play 2K25 and I record the videos. I enjoy doing that. But I tweeted this out earlier. I dusted off this morning the old SVR 07 game. I dusted off the old PlayStation. Now, a couple of years ago, during COVID, and for a few years, but especially during COVID, I had a hankering for SVR 07. Did not have a working PS2, did not have a working SVR game. I bought a game online, or I think I bought a game from a store, but I bought a PS2, renewed, obviously. I don't make them new anymore. But I bought a renewed PS2, the game and whatever. And I was playing GM mode for a little while there. I kind of moved away from it because then the 2K games came out. I've been playing the 2K games for, since then. So I moved away from playing SVR 07 GM mode. But I would love to honestly, the excitement of this past weekend, all the storyline possibilities. I love the GM mode in the newer games, don't get me wrong. I love doing it. But man, there's just something about GM mode in those 06, 07, 08 video games. It is fucking great. It's fucking great. So honestly, that's kind of one of my goals is to get back into doing GM mode on one of those, on SVR 07, SVR 06, or 08. I would love those. Anything I do, I love to do here on the channel. Also building Legos too. I don't want a million Legos. I've said that before to Alexis where I built a Stitch Lego a couple weeks ago. Love doing that. I just don't want to say that and then I'm like gifted a million Legos and then I have nowhere to put them. You know what I mean? But building Legos, reading, and doing more video game stuff, but specifically GM mode in SVR. Those are things I would like to do. Fishing, I've gone fishing before. My uncle, maybe about 15 years ago, took us fishing. We would go fishing just because it would give us something to do during the summer. This was back when I was in high school. He would take me and my brother, my younger brother, who also, by the way, I'll cheap plug this real quickly. I'll go back to the fishing thing. But my younger brother has a YouTube channel. You can check it out. It's called Johnson Hot Dogs. He did over Christmas break. I know I'm all over the place here, but this just came to mind. Over Christmas break, he did a short with Roger Clark. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because Roger Clark he voices Arthur Morgan in, he also, I think he did the motion capture for it too. He's not just like a voice actor. He's an actor. So he acts in Jackson's, that's my brother's name, in his videos and stuff. So you can check out the channel. It's called Johnson Hot Dogs. He did a short with him over Christmas that ended up getting like hundreds of thousands of views, which was crazy. But then he also did another short with him just yesterday, actually. My brother's in it. He directs it like it's entirely his idea. But he also has Roger in the videos. They're actually friends from Red Dead 2. So check out the videos. I think he did a great job of it. It's really funny. The Christmas one was especially funny. But the one that he did yesterday, it's called, what's it called? The Diamonds, I think. I sent out a link to the video. If you go to this channel, go to the posts, section of the video of my channel. I put up a post about it on the community tab or whatever. So you can check out the video there. But they're really funny. So anyway, that younger brother and I would go fishing with my uncle about 15 years ago. And it was fun. It wasn't fishing, actually. It was crabbing. We may have gone fishing another time. It was nice. It's a little too dry for me. I like doing other stuff. I say that, but I also like reading, so I guess it's kind of the same thing. But fishing, I've done it before. I've gone crabbing. It's fun. But I like reading, and I'm a big movie person, so if I can catch up on movies I haven't seen, that's also a big thing I enjoy doing. Richie said, Fetty Wap is an all-time legendary Grammy Award-winning artist. Nick said the same thing. Fetty Wap is an artist. WAP is a song by Cardi B. Okay, so we did WAP last week. Fetty Wap is an artist. That's what I thought. Because you guys were saying it as if it was a song. But if you want me to read Fetty Wap lyrics, whatever that is, I will do so. But we got to get up to 25 likes. We're Trap Queen, LOL, Richie said. Grunt said, not going to lie, that heel turn makes me slightly regret not trying to go see the Elimination Chamber live, but only slightly. Someone asked me the other day, do you regret not going to Chamber? I said no. I've got other stuff coming up down the pipeline that I'm attending instead. Alexis and I have other trips planned and all this other stuff. I'm going to be at Mania, so that's one thing. Two, I'm just not a big travel person. Mr. Marceau and I went to Elimination Chamber a couple of years ago, and it was amazing. I don't know if this would have topped that, quite honestly, but I'll definitely have to check out Canada again down the road, because Montreal was a lot of fun. But yeah, so definitely I didn't regret not going, just because the travel's a lot, and I just got back from going to Indianapolis. I'll be in Vegas in about a month, among other reasons why I chose not to go. But at some other point, I'm sure I'll be back. And yeah, I don't regret not going. It was a lot more fun, I think, watching from home and getting that reaction of like, what the fuck just happened? You know what I mean? Nick said, whatever song you end up singing, sing it in Ava's The Best GM Ever. Sing it in her voice. I mean, she doesn't have a voice. She doesn't have a singing voice. She just says, and tonight on NXT. Like she as if she's reading off of something. That is how Ava delivers her lines. She memorizes this shit, but she sounds like she's reading off. She sounds like a fucking AI bot. Again, I'm sure she's like the sweetest woman on the roster. No offense, but like she sounds like she's fucking AI, like it's Siri or something. Why? Great to see you in the chat, my man. Hope you're doing well. I can never pronounce your name, obviously, so I just say why, but hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. He said, hey, GSM, love early GM mode too. Early GM mode, my man, was the fucking shit. It was fucking amazing. I played the fuck out of it as a kid when I first did it when I was in high school. I played the fuck out in middle school. I played the fuck out of it in high school. I played the fuck out of it in college, and I played the fuck out of it a couple years ago. So, yeah. Those early GM mode, I love it. I love it. There's a certain simplicity to it that you don't have with the newer games. Love GM mode. Mike has said, I have a Spider-Man Lego with Venom set that I've had for a month and I've still have yet to build. How many pieces is it? That sounds cool, but it sounds like it's a lot of pieces. Richie said, friends with Arthur Morgan. I'm coming to the next family function. Yeah, I met him. I've only met him once. So when he was filming the Christmas video, that's also here on my posts. I put up a community video about it here on the channel back in December. You can go back and check it out. I was at the filming for that, so I met Roger for the first time then. He's very cool. Roger, actually, I'll give you some inside knowledge here, some inside baseball. Apparently, my brother said he's actually a big wrestling fan. I've seen him do videos like doing the Scott Steiner impression and talking about wrestling. He's making a couple of wrestling appearances, I guess, over Mania weekend for like a fucking indie promotion or something. According to my brother, he's actually a wrestling fan. So I told him, the next time you do a video or something, or you have something to promote, let me know. I would love to get Roger here on the channel. I want to get Roger here on the channel to talk about his career and stuff as an actor. Obviously, Red Dead's a big part of it. But, like, I need to break down wrestling with Roger. I might have to get Mr. Marceau the boot, if only for 1 week, or it might be just a separate interview, I kid. But I'm trying to convince him. I've thrown out that idea. I really want to interview Roger here for the channel. Because I feel like enough people know about Red Dead where I feel like people might be interested in that sort of thing. So at some point, maybe we can make that happen. Fernando asked, is your brother a wrestling fan like yourself? He is not. He used to be. When I got into wrestling back in 2008, he was like 9 years old. So, it's like the little brother syndrome where like you get into whatever your siblings are into. So he followed it, and it wasn't like he thought it was real. We never thought it was real. So it was never like, oh, it's not real, I don't want to watch anymore. It was never that. So they, what was I going to say? So when we got into wrestling, we started watching wrestling in like 2008 together. He probably fell out of it by like late 2010, 2011. He only followed it for a few years, hasn't really followed it since. He's been to shows with me since then. He went to TakeOver Deadline with me back in December 2023 here in Connecticut, but he doesn't really. I told him to watch the Undertaker Last Ride doc, because I guess he gets a lot of wrestling clips on his timeline. He watched the Mr. McMahon documentary, funnily enough. He said he liked it, and he was looking for and he watched the Rock Cena doc recently. I guess they did a doc on Rock Cena like a decade ago. So he said he watched it and really liked it. And I'm like, if you like that, because he has my Peacock account. So I said, if you like that, go watch the Last Ride documentary on Undertaker. And he said he said I loved it. I recommended it and he loved it. So yeah, now hopefully maybe at some point he'll come back around and we can talk some wrestling. But my brother has actually been here on the channel before. You'd have to go way fucking back. But when Wrestle Rant was just a weekly series of me reviewing Raw and shit, like a video blog back in 2011, he was on the show for those early episodes helping me review TNA and some other stuff. He is like 10 years old. I'm like fucking, I hate watching that shit back, but I'm like 16 years old. It's not good. But yeah, he's actually made cameos here on the channel before doing shorts and stuff like that and whatever. Anyway, Micah said, don't shoot me. Who is Arthur Morgan? And this isn't a joke question. Arthur Morgan is the main character from Red Dead 2. Grun said, yeah, Sam got other plans plus ticket and hotel would have put me in the hole for sure. Yeah, it's just too expensive. The tickets these days are fucking ridiculous. But down the road, I'm sure I'll be back in Canada, absolutely. Richie said, get off the stream right now and go play Red Dead 2. I agree. AI has more personality than Ava. Yes, you're right about that, Richie. Fernando said, what are your thoughts on the Marvel Doomsday spoiler leaks of concept art photos? I think there's some that could be real. I think there's some that might not be real. I'm not going to say too much for those that haven't seen them. I feel like some of them could be legit. They look cool. One of those photos I tweeted out on Saturday. I'm like, this sounds like the most fucking makeshift tag team in WWE history. I will not say what it is. But they were interesting concept art photos. Some shit could be real. None of it may be real. We just don't know. But there's a good chance that some of them were because the movie comes out in like a year or so. It's probably somewhat legit. Micah said, I have Red Dead Redemption 2. I just haven't played it because I'm still playing the most recent Ninja Turtles game that came out last year. That's pretty cool. I played the Ninja Turtles game that came out in the GameCube like 20 years ago. That was a good game too. Alexis said, I used to make video packages for SVR07 GM mode. Yes, they were very good. They're actually, I don't know, she took them down. I don't think they're on her channel anymore. But she made video packages for when we played GM mode, and they were quite great. I feel like my vision combined with Alexis's execution of video editing makes magic with those video packages. So you kind of have to follow the storylines to understand the video package. But if you knew the storylines that we were doing at that point in time, her video packages were very well done. And it's something I really want to do again. Man, I fucking love GM. I'm getting, every like 5 years, I'll get into a mode where I'm like, man, I really want to play GM mode again. And I'll just fire it up and I'll just go to town. That is my, that is what I enjoy more than anything. And if I can get it here on the channel so you guys can enjoy it with me, that'd also be fun. Richie said, I need to see Roger hit an RKO. No way. Alexis also said, yeah, she's right. They filmed the Xmas short that Roger was in. They filmed it at her family's house. So, weirdest thing, Arthur Morgan from Red Dead 2, a.k.a. Roger Clark, obviously, amongst all the other stuff that he's done, is friends with my brother, who filmed the movie with him, like a mini short, at Alexis's family house, and that I was also there for. Weirdest thing ever. That just made absolutely no sense, but it was pretty cool. Richie said, I'll pay you $20 to get that interview early. It's up to my brother. I'm not going to bother Roger about it, but if he can ask Roger if you want to talk wrestling, I would love to do it. Grun said, did you hear that Travis apparently injured Cody with that slap? Unbelievable. We talked about that earlier, and yeah, that's crazy that even happened. That is just fucking wild. Richie wants to come to Christmas this year. JCW said, don't blame your brother for dropping WWE in 2010. That year was dire. Especially back when he was like that age, you're very impressionable. So if your friends don't really watch wrestling, you're not going to watch it either. Like, I was still watching it, but he fell out of it. He had other interests and shit. He kind of fell into what his friends were watching at that point. So that's why he didn't really like it as much after a while. But yeah, I mean, if he was older, he might have stuck with it possibly, but especially since he was younger, you go through phases, and that was his phase for about a year or two. He had one of those toy rings, though. That ring was awesome. Nathaniel said, I hope Punk can main event WrestleMania this year or next. I hope it can still be this year. Daniel said, I played OG GM mode all freaking day. Daniel, I will play it all fucking day today. I will play it all day tomorrow, not literally, but like, man, I just love GM mode. And like I said, if you guys were interested, I play GMO now in the 2K games, and it's fun. But if you guys were interested, I don't know. I might consider doing 07 GMO, but the problem is I got to go buy a fucking capture card. I don't really want to do that. So at some point, maybe, but I might do that here on the channel. I just feel like that'd be a lot of fun. The problem is watching the matches isn't as short as it is in the 2K games, because the 2K games, watching the matches is fun because the AI works. The AI in the fucking SVR game, the match could be fucking awful, or it could be like an instant classic. You just don't know what you're gonna get because the matches, like they're very robotic. When you're not playing the matches and you just watch the matches, in the 2K games, it's great. The SVR stuff, it's very difficult. It is very, very difficult because you watch some of these matches and there's points where they're just standing there. It's like, fucking do something. You know what I mean? But it is still amazing. Grun also said, I want to play Shut Your Mouth and Here Comes the Pain so badly those games were peak. I mean, you're probably, if they're PS2 games, you would have to buy a PS2. I found one for like $100 a couple of years ago. That works. I plugged it in today and I wasn't sure if it would still work. It still fucking works. It still absolutely works. Yeah, I think you'd probably have to buy a PS2 and buy the game, but I would say do it. Those games are awesome. Alexis said, I would be down. I think she means be down. She didn't say be, but I think she's meant, I would be down to do a weekly retro stream or video where we play SVR 07 and incorporate homemade video packages and other stuff like that. The only problem is, like I said, I got to get a capture card, but if we can do that, I would be down to do it. I want to play the game whether I stream it or not. I want to play SVR 07 GM mode whether I stream it or not. But, you know, to incorporate fan feedback, like people watching right now, I feel like that would be fun. If you guys wanted to play with us and we can book based on like who has the better show, you guys could vote. Does Alexis have the better show? Do I have the better show? Blah, blah, blah. I feel like that would be a lot of fun. Mike has said, man, if Cody would have gotten his eye socket injured, recovery is 6 to 10 weeks, probably misses Mania. Maybe not because he did wrestle with the torn pec muscle. I think Cody will be fine, but that shit was fucking... The fact that Travis Scott actually injured him is nuts. Like, that is just absolutely ridiculous. Update, by the way, I just checked. I'm just checking now. I was going to say we got to get up to 25 we have to get up to 25 likes for me to read off song lyrics. We are now up to, I think, at least 27 likes, which I was not expecting. So let's do this. I'm going to read off the chat. I've been reading the chat now for almost 2 hours, but it's been a big, for the last hour and a half, rather. It's been a very big stream today, obviously, with the Cena heel turn stuff. I'm going to finish the chat. I'll go back and answer some questions. After I'm done answering all the questions, I will read whatever song you guys want me to read. So decide in the chat what song, whether it be now or later, because I still have to go through all the questions. Whether it be now or later, please let me know. I'll read that thing. I'll read that in a second, Alexis. Let me know what song you would like me to read the lyrics to. So if it will be at the end of the video. I will not do it right now. But if you want me to do it, please let me know. I will read the lyrics. But I got to get to the chat first and all the questions. So it won't be imminent. Anyway, Clark had said, do you remember when Jackson found interest in film? I saw the short film and thought it was awesome. I've been passionate about film and video for damn near 15 years, and I've been curious about his path. Clark, I know you're interested in film. I've followed a lot of Clark stuff too. Clark is great. Obviously, Clark, you've done a lot of great shit. I'm very fortunate to see your journey on Twitter and obviously being friends on Facebook and stuff. So as far as finding interest in film, I think he found an interest in film maybe about a little less than 10 years ago. He graduated college a few years ago at this point. He does a lot of shorts. He likes doing shorts. He does a lot of shorts. He does mini movies and stuff. He doesn't do like full-length feature films. He works on movie sets. He was at a movie set over this past weekend. He does a lot of that sort of stuff. I mentioned this a few years ago. I got in trouble when I revealed this because I shouldn't have revealed this when I did. That was my bad. But he did that movie that Sasha Banks did. The one movie that Sasha Banks was in, he was on that set. And I knew about that initially because he was on the set and he told me, and then I tweeted about it. I had to take it down. That was my bad. But anyway, so he does stuff like that, like costume, stuff, whatever. Production assistant, among other things on these sets. As far as like when he found an interest in it, it was in high school because he really liked SNL. He doesn't watch SNL now. I feel like SNL hasn't been funny in a long time. But he liked SNL and he liked doing sketches and stuff like that. He went to school for film. So he went to school for film, made contacts there. It's all about making contacts, really. Like anything is about making contacts. But he made a lot of content. If you go to his channel, you could see the evolution of his videos. Like you know, it started out, doing just random sketches, and still a lot of them are random sketches. But he's really good with comedy. He's really hands-on with like writing scripts and edit. He edits everything himself. He writes everything himself. He picks the people that are going to be in his shorts himself. As far as his path, he went to school for it, and he's done a lot of the shit himself as far as like shorts and stuff like that. And it's earned him opportunities in working with movies and stuff like that. So I don't know if that answers the question, but that's kind of his it's kind of his path towards film. And I would have to also ask him about it. If you want to reach out to him, feel free to let him know that you know me, obviously, whether it be through his channel or whatever, and he can definitely let you know about like what his path consisted of exactly, and how he made the connections that he did, because he has a lot more to say about that than I do. Micah said, random question, what were your thoughts when the limo blew up on Vince and where that story was supposed to go? I was not a fan at that point. I did not start watching until '08, so when the limo thing happened in '07, I was not watching. But where it was supposed to go, I think, was Vince was going to hold a funeral for himself. I mean, Vince would have always come back. In WWE canon, Vince was not going to fucking die. Vince was going to come back at some point and be like, oh, yeah, look at you guys. Like, I wanted to see who felt bad for me and all this other shit. It probably would have been garbage, let's be honest. They had to cut it short due to the Benoit thing. But whatever angle it would have led to, maybe we would have still ended up in the same place with the whole illegitimate son Hornswoggle thing. Who knows? I'm just not sure. But yeah, probably wouldn't have been great. Let's put it that way. JCW said playing the ECW brand in SVR08 is like playing GM mode in hard mode. I've never played ECW in GM mode. In SVR08, I never will. They also don't have a big enough roster to justify having a third brand like ECW. I would just turn ECW off if possible. Like, it's just a fucking waste. But yeah, GM mode in 08 isn't as good, but I love it for the roster. The roster that the SVR 08 game has is great. Daniel Malcolm says, loved Shut Your Mouth and Here Comes the Pain. Here Comes the Pain, not having any commentary always irked me, though. I've never played those games. I may have tried them maybe once, many years ago, but I never really played them, so I didn't know that. That's interesting. Grunt said, still got my Slim PS2. I got a Slim PS2 as well. Just got to get either the parts to play on my HD TV or track down a CRT. I bought one of those converter things because obviously the old PS2s, they have like the red, thing, like the red, the red wire, the white wire, the yellow wire. Remember when we used to do that sort of shit to plug in our video games? On my TV is newer, so I don't have that. So I had to buy an HD converter for my TV, and it works, and it's awesome. I fucking love it. And I love that it still works. I have not fired it up in a few years, and it still works today. Richie said, emulate the game onto your PC and use Streamlabs to stream the game onto your channel. How do I emulate the game onto my PC? You got to let me know how to do that. Micah also said, I have a PS5, but I've been tempted to buy this special edition PS4. I think you should, Micah. Do it. Do it. If it's a good enough deal, then definitely do it. Richie also said, bypass having to get a capture card and you can have your own overlays on your stream as well as via Streamlabs. Please let me know, Richie, how to do that. How can you emulate the game onto your PC? You said use Streamlabs, but is it like easy to do? Like, I play the game on my TV, obviously. Is there a way to like hook that up to my computer? Because that would be fucking awesome. If you can hook me that up with that, Richie, we might be cooking. We might be fucking cooking. Because if I could use that as well as overlay onto my stream and do other shit on the back end, we might be fucking cooking. Alexa send in the $2 super chat. Thank you, of course. Alexis, she said, send me the link to the stream camera thingy. Well, I might not have to if Richie said to use Streamlabs, so I got to get more insight on his end as far as how I can do that. You guys said in the chat, Daniel said, Wrestle Wop, turn up. Nathaniel said, having Travis Scott attacked Superstar is crazy. I mean, Travis Scott just got out of control. Richie said Fetty Wap Trap Queen. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Fernando, I don't know about that. The title alone, I don't know if I could do that one. Fernando said I should sing or read off the lyrics to... Should I even say that? Fernando said I should read off the lyrics to Miso... to Me So Horny by 2 Live Crew. That's what I should read. Me So Horny by 2 Live Crew. We might have to start a poll what I should read. Maybe I'll only do one. I don't know. Daniel said Shut Your Mouth and Here Comes the Pain rosters are peak. I think the 07 roster is peak because you got some newer people and older people. I love the SVR 07 roster the most. Richie said not 2 Live Crew. Oh God. Micah said Nelly Ride With Me. I think that's in the Ride With Me, like the smoke or whatever. And here comes here comes the money. Isn't that what that song is? I know that song. I love that song. Micah said that's actually a song that you might already know, GSM. But would it be like worth it to read the lyrics to that? I already know. Like I could sing that song because I know that song. Clark said, yes, that does answer my question. That's so cool. Good for him. And yes, contacts got me into places I never thought I would do as well. Cool. Very nice, Clark. Very nice. Well, I appreciate the question. Like I said, definitely reach out to him with any more questions. I mean, obviously you're experienced and you've been making videos for decades. So honestly, your path is probably very similar to his and vice versa. But he can answer more questions that you might have as far as whatever, really. And it might be answers to questions that you probably already know because you've been doing it forever, Clark. So, and you're already really good at what you do. Daniel said, Paul London smiling before the limo explosion is hilarious. Yeah, I forgot about that. Fernando said, the Vince McMahon fake death was stupid. Grunt also said, I miss arcade-style wrestling games so much. I never really got into that sort of stuff. That was before my time, so I love the SVR games. SVR games, that's my shit. Richie said, let me try to get the ROM for whichever SVR game you're looking to play. I can send it in a guide on how to install, or we can video chat and I'll help you out. Give me by the end of the week. All right, sounds good, Richie. I will definitely let you know, and I'll hit you up. The ROM, you talking about like the actual CD ROM? Is that what you're talking about? Because I have that. The SVR 07 ROM I obviously have for PS2. So I have that. I don't have for my computer, be able to put the computer disc onto my laptop. I don't have one of those things that I would have to buy one of those probably, I would imagine. I don't have one of the CD-ROM openings in my laptop. Clark said, sing Diggity Dog from the No Mercy game, LOL. Dig, diggity dog. Bro, that song was fucking fire. That song was great. A Must Be the Money. That's the song, okay. The GSM, I combined Nelly and Shane McMahon, LMAO. Yeah, I said, here comes the money. It's A Must Be the Money. Let me pull something up real quick. I swear to God, we're going to answer wrestling questions. I swear that we will, but these streams always go off the rails. Do you guys remember this song? Hold on. This video will be demonetized, but whatever. No Mercy, Diggity Dog. This is what Clark is talking about. I'm going to play it here on the channel. Hold on. Let's see if this works. Do you guys remember this song? Diggity dog. I'm breaking. Diggity dog. Oh wait, get it to the left. Breaking. Bro, best fucking wrestling theme soundtrack of all time. One song on loop the entire time. That is the fucking song. Diggity dog. That is my shit. That is my shit. I'll go back to singing later. Fetty Wap, Mine Again is my vote. That's what Micah says. Okay. Grunt said, in terms of roster, I think 2K19 might be my favorite. Say what you'll about 2017 to 2019 era, but the roster they had was legendary. The creative sucked, but the roster was great, so those games are probably fun to play for sure. I've heard 2K19 is a great game. Reggie said, nah, the ROM is the file of the game that allows, to emulate it wherever. It extracted from the source. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, let me know what I have to do. He said, not sure if you're aware of what a Stream Deck is. Oh, I've heard of that. But it's basically another handheld, just a PC in your hands. I have emulated games on it, OGS VR, Animal Crossing, some Sega games, and all from ROMs. Yeah, I've heard of that. Not Stream Deck, Steam Deck. I'm sorry. I have heard of people playing that. Yeah, I will have to look into that. That sounds cool. If I could use it to stream here on the channel, that'd be awesome. If I can get it on my laptop specifically, because I use my laptop to stream and shit, that would be peak. Um, Clark Clark was happy I played the song. Micah said he's never heard of the song GSM. And Fernando said, I remember this tune. It's from No Mercy N64. You talk about it at PS2 games. No, the fucking OG of wrestling video games was No Mercy on the Nintendo 64. That is the fucking OG. They should have played that song in No Mercy, the NXT No Mercy show that they did back in 2023. They did the intro, which blew my mind, which was incredible. They should have done the song as well. That would have been peak. Richie says you have a PC, right? I don't. I only have a laptop. So if I need a PC, if that's what you have, Windows, LOL. Yeah, a PC. I thought you meant like a physical like computer. I don't have that. I only have a laptop. Windows I do have though. I swear by Windows. I'm not a Mac guy. I'm sorry. I guess I would need Windows for this, which is good because I only use Windows. But anyway, let's answer some of these questions that some of these people came here to hear me answer, I guess, that were sent in previously. If you want to send in a question into the show, you could drop into the chat, which I've been doing for the last 2 hours. I probably should have paced myself better there. We just got out of hand because there's so much to talk about. I appreciate all you guys joining me today. But Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, send in the questions. I'll answer it on next week's episode and, future episodes, of course. But Jordan B sent in a question on YouTube. He said, let's say you decide to become a pro wrestler, he asks. Which wrestler would you like to be trained by? I feel like Shawn Michaels is a good pick. I don't know if he's still, obviously he's training people to PC now. Shawn Michaels trained Daniel Bryan, the greatest wrestler in the world. So honestly, if there's any person to be trained by, it would be probably Shawn Michaels, CM Punk, or Daniel Bryan. Any one of those three would be great. Or William Regal. William Regal would also be great because I think Punk, he had a hand in Bryan's training, and maybe Punk, but definitely Bryan. So Punk, or Regal as well. Regal and Shawn. I guess at that point, just go to NXT, but that would be my answer. Kadeem G from YouTube. I'm going to answer a couple of these questions. I'll go back to the chat in a few minutes. Kadeem G said, do you think that WWE has given up on the booking of the Women's Intercontinental Championship? I felt like the company gave Lyra Valkyria the belt too soon because of her injury history from NXT, and her biggest weakness right now is her lack of personality as a character, because right now, fans aren't clicking with the women's IC matches on Raw. I think the booking also has to do with it. The matches are good, but like having Ivy Nile lose to Dakota Kai and then giving her a shot anyway a couple of weeks later is ass backwards booking. Excuse me. No one's going to give a shit about Ivy Nile after that. She lost and then you give her a title shot 2 weeks later. That makes no fucking sense. It's just stupid. So, they got to have her develop more of a personality. That was kind of her issue in NXT too. She was good in NXT, but it's more of a smaller environment. It's not the same thing. But, her injury history from NXT, I don't really think that's why they gave her the belt this soon. Oh, she might get injured. We got to give her the belt now. I don't think that was it. She was the best fit for that title. But they got to do a better job of, making that belt mean something, giving her more character development, featuring them better, giving them more time. 7-minute matches isn't going to do anyone any favors. Let's put it that way. No, I don't think they've given up on the booking of the belt. It's only been a month or two. Ask me again in 6 months to a year. They have not given up on it yet. Have they already ruined the belt? No, it's too soon to say that. But what they've done so far has not been ideal. Mike has sent in a question previously for this episode and asked, now John Cena is representing hustle, loyalty, and disrespect. What are 3 things that they need to do to make sure that this heel run goes perfect? Also, they gotta feud Cena and R-Truth now. Feud, probably not, but Cena has to go out there and fucking destroy Truth. If you want to get maximum heat on Cena, have him out there destroying R-Truth. That would be great. What 3 things do they need to do? He needs to be serious, new music, new gear, no bullshit, like just change everything about John Cena. They need to make it make sense too. So I guess new gear, new music, make it make sense. And have him on the show enough to make it worthwhile. Do not turn him after WrestleMania. Back to babyface. That would be stupid. Make it make sense. Do not change the promos, honestly. I said this on Twitter the other day. Do not change Cena's promos. That promo where he buried Theory was the biggest heel promo coming from a babyface I think I've ever fucking heard. He just eviscerated that man. Among other people, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt. Like, he has been burying people in promos for years now. Just have him do it as a heel. It makes more sense. Do not change the promos, but change everything else. If you can do that and follow up on it properly, this heel turn could be great. I was not convinced initially. I'm still not convinced. But if you can change those things about the act, then I think this could work. Before I answer the next question, let's check up on the chat real quick. Richie said, perfect. Okay, Micah said, would you rather be rich and sad or poor and happy? Probably poor and happy. I feel like if you're sad, if you have all the money in the world and you're not happy, then what's the point? You could buy a million things, but if it doesn't buy you happiness, then who gives a shit? If you're poor, yeah, you have nothing, but at least you're happy. Yeah, I'd rather be poor and happy. I feel like that's a slam dunk, but that's just me. Maybe Cena would rather be rich and sad because he sold out on Saturday. Maybe that would be his answer. Fernando said, I'm just being nitpicky, but Veer selling his soul would have been more iconic than Cena. I agree. Veer should, if you don't understand the joke, go back and listen to the last couple of streams. But yeah, Veer, he should have been out there. Fuck Cena. The Cena heel turn, who gives a shit? Veer, if he was there, he could have become the corporate champion. He could have sold out to The Rock. Veer could have been that guy. Veer could have been in that spot, but they let him go. The $1 million arm, no goosebumps. The $1 million arm could have been the next WWE champion. They had it in their hands, and they threw it away. Daniel said, what do you think the crowd reaction would have been if Roman aligning with Heyman happened in front of a live crowd? It would have been like, what? That would have been crazy. It would have been a lot of gasps. It would have been a lot of gasps. I can promise you that. That would have been crazy. It's a bummer that it didn't. It's definitely the best moment from that cinematic era of WWE because it was so well done. Just no crowd. But that would have been, it definitely would have been a shocked reaction for sure. I don't think they would have chanted. I mean, probably they would have gasped and said, holy shit. I feel like. I don't think they would have booed, depending on where they were. Fernando said, what would be your wrestling name? I feel like maybe just Graham something. But Graham Matthews, I mean, I've been using Graham Matthews for so long now. Graham GSM Matthews, it would probably be that. The finisher would be two things. I'd have, I'm not physically built to be doing slams and shit, or maybe taking slams, but doing slams probably not. But I would have two finishers. The Graham Slam, that just makes sense. And two, Writer's Block. What these moves would actually be, I don't know. But I have the names down. Writer's Block, I feel like, would be perfect. Clark said, what are your thoughts on WWE LFG? Does anyone stand out to you from that class? I like Shiloh Hill and Anthony Luke. I haven't watched the show in full yet. I've only seen clips. Shiloh Hill's on the show. I like Shiloh Hill from what I saw of him on NXT Level Up. So I like Shiloh Hill. The Ukrainian girl, I think she's Ukrainian. She was on the Next Gen show. I think her name is Xena, Zena. She is on the show. She stood out to me on that Next Gen show, so she's good. I don't know who else is on the show. I think Roxanne Perez's boyfriend's on it. I don't know how good he is. But definitely Shiloh Hill and that Xena girl, though. I know they stand out for sure. Daniel said, Cena torched people on the mic as a face. I can only imagine what heel Cena is going to do. I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to get too excited, then it ends up being just disappointing, or he says nothing for months on end. That would be just stupid. He's got to go out there and just fucking torch his opponent or torch the crowd. Is he going to? I don't know. But I think he should. Fernando said, if you were tasked to book the... I think you didn't finish your question because I don't know what that means. Richie said, size means nothing. Looking Marco Stunt, one hell of a vanilla midget. Yeah, Marco Stunt was not my favorite, but he could do some pretty crazy shit. Daniel Malcolm said, Roxanne's boyfriend, drawing a blank on his name, looks kind of bland to me, LOL. Yeah, I don't know who it is. I just know that she's dating someone that works there. I don't know his name either. And that's someone that's on the show. Richie also said Writer's Block is a dope name, though. I feel like it'd be a good name. Maybe just like a shoulder block. That's lame, but diving shoulder block or something. I don't know. I feel like that'd be cool. In my theme song, instead of Finley's, you could just, instead of it would be, my name is Finley and I love to fight. My theme song would be, my name is Graham and I love to write. There you go. Book it, people. Make a Titantron with that in it. Anyway, next question from Noel from Facebook, who joined us a little bit earlier on. Their question that they sent in is the title of this video. We're just getting to it now, 2 hours in, I understand. But here we are. Would you rank John Cena's heel turn in the top 5 shocking heel turns of all time in wrestling? Yes, I would. Where would I rank it? I would probably go... It might be 1. Here's the thing. I did a list for Bleacher Report yesterday, or on Monday, for Monday, ranking where Cena's heel turn ranks in WWE's of all time. Not shocking, just greatest heel turns ever. I put it at 2. Bret Hart's heel turn and the whole overall package was better. But I feel like we just haven't seen Cena's play out yet. Cena's could end up being better, but it's too soon to say. But I did put it at 2 because the fact that he turned heel at all is a massive fucking deal. And the execution of it was pretty well done. We just have to understand what the logic is. The Stone Cold heel turn itself was great. The follow-up sucked, so it's lower up on my list. But I wasn't watching when Hogan... I mean, Hogan is obviously the greatest heel turn of all time. That's just my opinion. The greatest heel turn of all time is Hogan. Cena might be 2. The greatest of all time is Hogan's. Most shocking, here's my question for you guys. I don't know how many of you were watching in 96 or 01. I was not. I was a wee baby at that point, okay? I was still pooping in diapers in 96. Was Hogan's heel turn as shocking as Cena's? My answer is probably, obviously it was shocking. Was it more shocking? Cena spent longer as a babyface, so I feel like Cena's might have been more shocking, but I just wasn't watching in 96. Hogan's was a bigger deal because it ended up transcending wrestling for a number of years. So that's why I think it's better. We also saw where it went, and that's why I think it's better than Cena's. But was Hogan's shocking, though? I feel like it was. So I'm still going to say Hogan's is probably 1. Cena might be 2 or 3 behind Stone Cold. Bret Hart's, I don't know if it was shocking necessarily. It was better in terms of the overall package and how it was executed. But was it? I don't know. Cena's is obviously in the top 5. It's either 2 or 3. I feel like Hogan's still 1. Stone Cold, because I feel like people were thinking there was a chance Cena could go heel. Would they actually do it? Obviously, I don't know. But people were at least speculating on it. It wasn't, like, I was shocked on Saturday that they actually did it, but we also talked about the idea of whether they would. And they didn't, because I also thought it wouldn't make sense. But Stone Cold's heel turn was probably pretty shocking, too. So I would put Cena maybe at 2 or 3. The Stone Cold one, I feel like they kind of foreshadowed with him, saying, "Oh, I'm desperate," and people might have thought that he was going heel. I don't know. I wasn't watching, so it's hard for me to say. So Hogan might still be 1, Cena might be 2, and then Stone Cold at 3. And that's in wrestling in general. There's other heel turns that are better, but in terms of most shocking, which was the question, that might be my top 3. Let's see. Daniel said, "Are you going to any of the MSG shows?" I am not. I would like to. I was thinking about it. Next week's Raw looks great. NXT next week looks great. But like I said, it's just the travel at this point. It's better than flying out to a show. All I have to do is take a train ride. But I wouldn't go to both. I would go to one or the other. The funny thing now is, I will say this. I don't even know if I would be able to go. I would not pay for a ticket. Let's put it that way. The ticket prices are ridiculous. WWE in the past has been usually pretty great, not just with me specifically, but a lot of media people in giving comp tickets. But they've actually not done that in recent months. They have not done that at all because they've moved back. And it's not just me or other people. Even people that work for the company do not get comp tickets anymore because the business is so hot. They feel like they can make money off those seats. Honestly, I totally get it. I don't take it personally. I totally understand that. So it's not that I don't take it personally at all. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that I would probably only go to make it worth it if I didn't have to pay for the ticket. And I just don't know. I didn't even ask. I didn't even bother asking just because I'm going to Mania. I don't love going to New York if I don't have to. It's late on a Monday night. I would not be back until extremely late on Tuesday. Or same thing if I went to NXT on Tuesday, came back on Wednesday. Yeah, exactly. You can thank TKO for that. Whatever report you saw about morale being in the toilet in the company, I don't work there, so I don't know if that's true. It probably is. But there was one part of that report where they said they don't give out comp tickets anymore. I can tell you that is accurate. I am not above paying for a ticket, but the difference is I would pay for a ticket if it was closer. Because not only would I have to pay for the ticket, I would have to pay for the train ticket, and I just don't like it's the ticket price itself. Getting on I got to drive to the train station is another thing. It's not that close, and I would be back extremely late, and I'd be behind and stuff like that. So, if I got a ticket, then I would probably do it. But even then, even if I didn't even bother asking, just because I just don't love the travel at this point. It is going to be a big show next week, but I've been to plenty of Raws and SmackDowns over the years. I could just wait until WrestleMania. I'm hopefully going to Raw after Mania in Vegas, so I don't really need to go now, even though it looks like a great show next week, and I am excited for it. As I've gotten older, I've also said to myself, do I really need to go to the show? The answer is no. I really don't need to go to the show. Would I like to? Yes. Anytime they would come anywhere near here, whether it be Connecticut, Rhode Island, Mass, New York, I would be there in a heartbeat. Now I'm like, I don't really need to go, so I'm probably just going to watch from home, unless I would really like to go. That's the difference. Fernando said, if you were tasked to book a modern NWO, who would you book to be the modern Hogan, Hall and Nash? It's tough to say because I feel like Hogan, even at that point, was at the tail end of his career. Cena would probably be the Hogan, but like Hall and Nash were also around for a few more years. I don't know. I feel like Rock, Cena, and like a third guy like an Orton or something would be cool. Cody, I don't really see being that guy. Cena, yeah. Rock probably. Maybe Punk. Cena, Rock, and Punk might be the modern day NWO. It doesn't really benefit anyone because they're all older. They're not newer guys. If you were to put a newer guy in there, I don't know who that would be. Cody Rhodes wouldn't fit, nor would he benefit from that. Braun Breaker, no. LA Knight, no. I don't even know who that would be. So aside from like Cena, Rock, and a third guy like an Orton or a Punk, that would probably be my answer though. Daniel, honestly, they should have done that 15 years ago with Cena, but that would have been the modern day NWO, but they didn't. They just didn't do it. Daniel said, I was still drinking breast milk when Hogan turned heel, LOL. Yeah, we were young lads back then. Micah said, I can't rank Cena's better than Roman Reigns' heel turn yet. Here's why. Roman is the tribal chief. As the tribal chief, elevated everyone around him and his opponents, and he was champion for 3.5 years. Cena's was cool. I mean, yeah, that's because we know the aftermath of Roman's. The actual turn itself, Cena's was better than Roman's because Cena's happened in front of fans. I will not divvy from that. Cena's heel turn was better. Will the heel run be better is the question. Probably not. Roman's heel run has been incredible. Roman's will probably be better. The actual heel turn, I think Cena's was better than Roman's. Grunt said, I mean, we did get some A-grade comedy from Austin's heel run at least. I'm sure it was painful to watch at the time for diehard Austin fans, but looking back on it, it was great stuff. It was incredibly entertaining, especially his interactions with Kurt Angle. That was great comedy, I will say that. Mike has said, but we haven't seen the end product yet, so for me, mine is Roman Reigns as the best heel turn of all time in WWE. Fair point. Fernando said, does Vince McMahon make his heel turn? Does he count? I said no, because the whole point in the Montreal Screwjob was not to turn Vince heel. Like, he did turn him heel. He was an on-air character, kind of. But the whole point of the Screwjob was to fuck over Brett. And it wasn't like Vince was was he a regular on TV every week after that? Like, I don't think it was supposed to constitute as a heel turn. They just embraced the fact, after the fact, that he was already hated by people because of the Screwjob. So, no, I don't. If we're counting Vince's, Vince would be up there. That would also be shocking. But I don't really count it because it wasn't really an angle. Like, these were angles that we're talking about. Vince's was just like, they just didn't really like him. Like, it wasn't designed to turn him into a bad guy. It was designed to fuck over Bret Hart. Micah said, I didn't see Austin or Hogan, so I can't vote those. Richie said, I will be at Raw next week, securing my ticket later today. I was initially going to be at NXT, but they announced the Punk Rollins match, and I've never seen Punk wrestle live. There you go. That's enough to sell you on that. I was very much considering, and I saw that. I'm like, man, like that's tempting. When I saw that, I'm like, that's fucking tempting. So yeah, that's going to be a great show next week. I'll be happy to watch from home, but you're going to have a blast, Richie. Because to see the Hardy Boys in NXT next week in Madison Square Garden is also pretty cool. Fernando asked, what are your thoughts on Stephanie McMahon starting her own podcast? Who gives a fuck? Honestly, who gives a shit? Like, I saw that WrestleVotes tweet, and they're usually pretty credible. But he said, oh yeah, this should be compelling given everything that Stephanie's experienced. Would she even give half of what she's actually experienced? Like, let's be honest. Is she going to start a podcast talking about her father's a piece of shit? Or like addressing the Macho Man long-standing rumor? No. Nor should she about that one. But like, she's not going to give any actual dirt. It's going to be like, oh, like, I love coming to work. And like, oh, the company's great. And oh, I started the women's revolution. Like, it's going to be garbage like that. It sounds so below interesting. Like, so like less than zero interest. I don't even know what to say. It sounds so uninteresting. I can't even put it into words. Richie said, the lack of employee comp tickets has been going on for about a year or longer now. It's such a lame thing to do so they could just sell more tickets. I get it's a business strategy, still lame though. That is fucking lame. I mean, I don't work there, so I mean, it's way worse for people that do work there. It's fucking dumb that their own company, like the people who work there can't even get tickets. That is just stupid. I'm sorry, but that's dumb. Treat your employees better. Daniel said, yeah, to your point, I'll be in Vegas for Mania Week and the festivities, but not as of right now going to the show. Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, it's expensive, man. The Mania stuff's going to be expensive. So if you're in Vegas, Daniel, let me know. I mean, you said you are. Not for Mania itself, but for the other stuff. Hit me up on Instagram. We'll definitely have to meet up. That'll be awesome. He said, I'll probably be at one of the watch parties. That's cool. That'll be fun. Grunt said, I feel the exact same way that you do, Graham. I've been to a Raw, SmackDown, TakeOver, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, plus a Dynamite and Forbidden Door. I'm good for live shows. Yeah, I kind of nitpick as far as, like, if it's worth it, I'll go at this point. If it's fun or, like, I can bring someone else, you know what I mean? Like, that would be fun. But other than that, like, this isn't a random Raw. Next week is going to be great. But because if it was in Connecticut, I would probably buy a ticket and go. But it's not. Madison Square Garden, I would have to drive to the train station, which is not close, take a 2-hour train ride, walk to Madison Square Garden, be there until like 10:30, 11, do all that over to get back, and I would not be back until like 3:30 in the morning. Like, I don't live close to New York. It's doable, but I'll just wait till Mania. I'm going to Mania, so I'll just wait till Mania. Grun said, I feel the exact same way that you do. Or no, I already read that question. Fernando said, I don't think Bret Hart heel turn was shocking. We all saw the double turn coming at Mania 13. The fans were starting to cheer Austin and boo Bret going to Mania 13. Yeah, Bret's wasn't shocking. I think Bret's is better. It's a better heel turn. That was the question that I posed in my article on Bleacher Report. The question about what was more shocking, Bret's was not shocking. So I agree with that. I don't think. I wasn't watching back then, but I could probably tell you it wasn't that shocking, because the writing was on the wall. Micah said, that makes sense if we're talking about the initial turn. Cena's was better. GSM, I agree. Richie said, talking about the Stephanie podcast, it'll last 6 months and they'll axe the podcast like their previous ones. After the belt and the New Day pod don't even exist anymore. That's what they do. They've done this for years, dude. They've done this for years. We'll start something. They get back into the podcast game. This one's linked to Fanatics. Who gives a shit? I saw that thing on Raw last night. I used to watch Raw Talk for a long time because I already started reviewing it. Like I said, if I start something, I don't finish it. I want to finish it, rather. I don't want to give up on it. So I finished Raw Talk when it wrapped up on the network. Now they're doing Raw Recap with Rollins on it. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, who cares? Like, with Rollins on it, cool, but it's a WWE interview. The stuff they do on their social media is much better than whatever fucking podcast they're going to have hosted by Sam Roberts and Megan Morant. No disrespect, but, like, is anyone clamoring to hear Megan Morant's thoughts on what happened on Raw last night? Probably not. With the WWE spin on it, who gives a shit? No thanks on that. Micah said, do you think the Macho Man and Stephanie rumor is true? Is it true? Is it damn true? No, I never really thought that was true. I think there might be some smoke to the fire, but I think it might have been exaggerated. But we'll never know, because Macho Man died, and Stephanie's probably never going to say it publicly, so we'll probably never know. But no, I don't think it was like 100% fact. Let's put it that way. They were probably close. I don't think he ever did anything with her. Let's put it that way. Grunt said, the fact that Chamber was in the Sky Dome was one of the reasons why I was considering it, along with the fact that I've never seen Cena wrestle live or seen a Chamber match in person. Well, that would have made it worth it. But if you didn't want to go, it was expensive. I don't blame you. But down the road, maybe. But that would have made it worth it, because that stuff alone is pretty cool. And then Micah also said the only podcast that I missed that WWE did was the Austin podcast on the network. Well, that was different. Like, that was a show, not an audio podcast, and it was great. He said, it's terrible that we don't get those interviews anymore in 2025. If they bring it back this year or next year, Cena has to be first. For some reason, I feel like Cena was on the Stone Cold podcast on the WWE network. He was on the original Stone Cold podcast, like, in 2015. But, like, when they did Broken Skull Sessions is what you're talking about, I thought they filmed the Cena episode. They just never aired it. I'm almost positive that they did a Cena episode. They just never aired it. And I don't know why. But they should do another one talking about the heel turn. They did one with Cody right before Stone Cold stopped doing them. They did one with Cody, which was cool. They mentioned AEW and some other stuff. That was cool. They got to do Stone Cold and Punk. Stone Cold and Punk, and then Stone Cold and Cena would be the top two ones they have to do. Fernando said, I know it was before our time, but where would you rank Sarge and Slaughter turning on America before Mania 8 versus Hogan? That's an interesting random one. I would not put it in the top 10. I mean, it was a big deal because he got a lot of heat because he was embracing a real-life situation, but Yeah, I would. I probably wouldn't put it up there. I mean, it was a big one, and it made for the Hogan. It made for that Hogan match at Mania, turning Sergeant Slaughter heel. It was probably big for like people that thought it was real. Let's put it that way. But I don't think it's one of the greatest heel turns of all time. Top 50 maybe, but 25, 10, definitely not 10. 25 probably, but towards the bottom. And then Daniel said Jericho did the Cena one on the network. That's what it was. Yeah, Stone Cold didn't do. I think Jericho did one with Stephanie maybe, and one with Cena, and that was it. And he asked Cena a bunch of softball shit. I enjoyed this Jericho Cena podcast, but it was a lot of softball questions for sure. I remember that. That was about a decade ago. Stone Cold, I don't think ever interviewed Cena on his own show. And hopefully he can one day on the network. They probably won't because they got rid of it years ago. They don't focus on the Peacock content anymore. They don't give a fuck about the Peacock content. They stopped doing original content for Peacock a long time ago. The deal expires next year. They're probably done with that shit, unfortunately. Now they're moving back into the podcast game. Ooh, who gives a fuck? Richie said, I really missed the Edge and Christian pod of awesomeness. Got me through a real rough time, although it wasn't WWE affiliated. Just a couple of ads being Mark's funny stuff. Adam always getting tired of Jay's shit made me laugh. Yeah, they had great chemistry, obviously. I never listened to the podcast, but I knew it was a good one. And that was back in like 2017 when they were both out of WWE. They were both retired and out of WWE. That's when they were doing it. Grunt said All in Toronto and the Skydome would get me to crack 100%. At some point, that would be cool. All in Toronto. I would probably go to that one. That would be awesome. Back to the questions. We'll go back to the chat in a little bit. Nick T wrote, did they pivot? That's all he said via Twitter. Nick, obviously, who was here in the chat earlier, did they pivot? I think they did. In my personal opinion, I do not think Cena turning heel was always the plan. I know I sound skeptical. I don't think that was always the plan. I think they pivoted. They definitely pivoted with Io winning the belt last night, I think. I don't think that was the plan either. But and I'm glad they did. The Cena one, Rock just coming back randomly. Like, his schedule's been weird. I feel like that was kind of random, too. I feel like they're kind of making it up as they go along, which isn't always a bad thing. I think they did change course for Mania to make it more interesting, because then Cody and Cena straight up would have been boring as fuck. Maybe they realized that and they changed course. I don't know. I don't think everything we're seeing right now is always the plan. Let's put it that way. At Iwagu91 from Twitter, here comes another Roxanne Perez question from me. He said, do you see her facing Jordan Grace at either Roadblock or Stand and Deliver? Probably a Roadblock. I think Bayley and Roxanne will not be at Mania. I want it to be. I don't think it will be. I could see Jordan and Roxanne at Roadblock. Jordan Grace wins and faces the winner of Julia and Stephanie at Stand and Deliver. And then instead of Stand and Deliver, you could do Bayley and Roxanne. That's what I feel like we're going to get. I don't think we get Bayley and Roxanne at Mania itself, but Mania weekend and Stand and Deliver seems more likely to me. Speaking of Roadblock, I like that it was the final pay-per-view /PLE before WrestleMania in 2016, to the point that the match graphics featured Roadblock leading up to its name by being a halt to WrestleMania. If the way I'm saying it is silly, then I understand. What are your thoughts? Yeah, that last part didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but yeah, Roadblock was a network special in 2016. They did a pay-per-view that year called Roadblock. I think that was the only year that they did it. They got rid of it in 2017. But they did 2 Roadblock shows in 2016. A pay-per-view in December, and then a network special in March of 2016, almost exactly 9 years ago. I thought that was cool. I thought that was really cool. That was where they did that great Dean Ambrose Triple H match for the WWE title. That was really, really good. People thought they might actually have Dean Ambrose win and face Roman Reigns at Mania, which they did not do. They were never going to do that. But that was a great match. So, yeah, I thought that was a cool concept. They never did it again after that. But for a one-off network special, I thought that was cool. That was during that period where they were doing Beast from the East, Live from MSG, Roadblock, and some other stuff to kind of get people to subscribe to the network. And they never really did it again after that. But I thought that stuff was cool, though. They also asked, if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were to face off inside Hell in the Cell, would that be the end of their feud to go with the match ending bitter rivalries or otherwise? I think what you're saying is basically, if they were to have the Hell in the Cell match, would that be the end of their feud? Probably not. I think these two will continue to feud regardless of the company, regardless of what promotion they're in, until the day that they die. In WWE, their last match ever could be inside Hell in the Cell, whenever that's going to be in a couple of years. That would be nice if that was their final match. I do not think Owens and Zayn had their final match against each other at Elimination Chamber over the weekend. I feel like that will continue at some point down the road, years down the road, whatever it might be. And an eventual Hell in the Cell match would be cool. because they build up the cell now as the be-all, end-all for feuds. We got it with Drew and Punk. We got it with Edge and Balor. That ended that feud. So, yeah, I feel like if we were to do it, that would end that feud, hopefully forever in WWE. That might not be for a while down the road, though. And I'm glad they didn't do it at Elimination Chamber because unsanctioned was better, and they already had the chamber pod up there. You can't do a chamber structure above the ring and a Hell in a Cell structure. That just doesn't work. Grunt said, last question that he sent in before we go back to the chat, and read lyrics, by the way. So if you guys have a song that you want me to read here on the stream, I'll finish this question. I'll read the lyrics of whatever song you want me to read, and we'll close out the stream with that as a reward for you guys getting me to 27 likes here in the video. Grunt asked, is it truly fair to compare one night of WrestleManias of the past with modern two-night WrestleManias? I feel like at the end of the day, people are either going to have a bias for the shorter shows or for the two-night format that gives you more by default. That's a good question. Yeah, someone brought that up to me a couple days ago. Is it fair to compare it like the Manias of old to the Manias of today? Is it 100% fair? No. But honestly, it gives you more. I don't know. I feel like you could still compare the two. Because, here's my other question for you. Yeah, two nights this is a different kind of question. But, is it fair to compare the Mania 33, which was a 6-hour show, 6-hour show, 7-hour show, to Mania 2 or a Mania 4 that might have been 3 hours? I think that was 4 hours. But some of those Manias are a tight 3 hours. They didn't go to 4 hours until, years later. So is it fair to compare 7-hour Manias to 3-hour Manias? No. Those longer Manias are garbage. So longer isn't always better. So at the end of the day, it is fair to compare the Manias because at the end of the day, WrestleMania is WrestleMania. It gives you more good stuff, but it also gives you more margin for error. For example, if Mania 17 was 2 nights, I don't know if people would still say it's the greatest of all time because you would have had a lot of undercard filler bullshit on that show as well. That you would have had, what would have been the first night's main event? Triple H and Undertaker? They had no women's matches main eventing back then. So I just feel like the product is better suited for a 2-night Mania now compared to back then, in my personal opinion. I feel like it's still fair. 100% 1-to-1, it's not, because it's not the same thing. There's different lengths and different circumstances. But you can still say 17 is the best of all time. Not because it's short or shorter, because it's better. But the Manias of recent years are not better just because they have 2 nights. They're better just because they have great fucking content. Let's put it that way. And that was it for the scheduled questions. So we'll go back to the chat here, and we'll wrap up with some lyrics here in a minute. Fernando said, Austin is my GOAT. His heel turn was very cringe for me watching. Watching him hug Vince and Kurt Angle was a difficult thing for me. It was still real to you, damn it. Daniel said, you think Rhea's turning heel? No, I don't. I thought that promo that you cut on the YouTube channel was amazing. Watch that if you haven't already. That was fantastic. But no, I don't think she's turning heel. I think it would just be, honestly, I feel like if anyone's turning heel, it should be Bianca. Rhea just went babyface 6 months ago, so it's too soon for Rhea. Bianca should be a heel. Will she? I don't know. I feel like it's going to be all baby faces with Bianca, Io, and Rhea. And honestly, for now, that's totally fine, as long as you make it interesting. Fernando said, who was funnier, The New Day or Edge and Christian? Probably The New Day, but Edge and Christian, I didn't grow up watching them, so it's hard for me to say. Edge and Christian's comedy was more cringy. Not cringy, but stupid and over the top and dumb. I enjoyed them. I enjoy their shtick, but I feel like New Day was genuinely funnier. They just didn't give a fuck a lot of the time. Richie said, New Day pod gave us big meaty men slapping meat, so I might have to go with them. That's a good point. If you're talking podcast, then probably Edge and Christian, but New Day did have that great line that Goldberg said about that Big E said about Goldberg that people still quote to this day. That's where that whole meat thing comes from. It comes from Big E on that podcast. He also said that New Day pod episode of the Usos and them arguing that Jimmy and Jay are not twins because they were born minutes apart on different days is iconic. That's another great clip that goes viral once in a while. It's the big meaty men slapping meat line. And then Goldberg, or I'm sorry, that was the Goldberg one. But then also the twins thing with the Usos. That goes viral again every once in a while. And it's a great little bit. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. Let's see. Fernando said, the WWE squandered the shocking heel turn by New Day on Big E. Nothing happened after that. It's only been a couple of months, but yeah, so far it's been 3 months, and they have yet to fully capitalize for it. They have yet to fully capitalize on that great moment. I will definitely agree with that. I feel like they could have done a better job with that for sure. One sec here. Last couple of questions or comments. WWE sold out Peacock. Sold out for the Peacock? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And Daniel said, Big E's love for Goldberg is hilarious. Yes, it is. It is definitely excellent. They should have had a match at some point. 2021 would have been the time. It obviously did not happen, but that would have been cool, though. So we're pretty much done here on the show. I promised you guys I would read out lyrics for those that are still with us. What song are we doing here? Was it that Fetty Wap song? Like, I need like a definitive answer as far as what I should read off. So please let me know what song lyrics I should read off as we wind down the stream. Daniel said, Woods telling Eve of the Goldberg episode of SVU. E's popped out of his head, LOL. I don't remember that. That was on the podcast, but I do not. That was on their podcast, but I do not remember that. Mike, you said earlier, Fetty Wap mine again. I'm definitely not doing the horny one. I feel like that might be a little too risque here for the stream. Fetty Wap mine again is probably what we're gonna go with, unless you guys have another idea. And if you don't, I'll probably just go with that one. Let me pull up the lyrics to that while we're waiting here. Fetty Wap mine again. Audio only. Well, I'm not going to do the audio because I'm probably already demonetized due to the Diggity Dog thing earlier. Let's check this shit out. I have not heard this song before. I do not know what this is. So let's fucking see what this is. So, Fetty Wap's Mine Again, or is it just called Again? I think it's called Again. So the lyrics go, I want you to be mine, baby. A, I know my lifestyle is driving you crazy. A, I cannot see myself without you. We call them fans, though, girl. You know how we do. I get out of the way to please you. I get out of the way to see you, and I want you to be mine again, baby. These are fine. I see a couple N-words in there. We're not doing that shit. And it gets spicier as you go on, but I feel like the one that we did last week was better. That's a decent one. What else was recommended earlier on in the chat? I know Micah said the Nelly song, but I know that one. I'm not going to sing that one. Richie said Trap Queen. Hold on. Fetty Wap Trap Queen. Fetty Wap Trap Queen. This came out in 2015. I have never heard of this. That is how white I am, folks. I have never heard of this song before. I don't think. Let's look at the lyrics to this shit. Hold on. Back. Richie said there's no way that I haven't heard of these songs. They were everywhere in 2015. Candy Shop, I know that song. I gotta take you to the candy shop. I'm gonna take you to the candy. I know that shit. If you're talking like early 2000s, I know that stuff. 2015, I was, I don't know. So let's do this one that Richie sent. Then we'll do Candy Shop. Discovering new music here on the stream is might be a weekly segment. I don't know, because I have not heard of half of these songs that you guys are giving me. Trap Queen goes, I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello, A, in parentheses. See yo pretty ass soon as you came in the door. It doesn't say you, it says yo. Seeing yo pretty ass soon as you came in the door. I just want to chill. Got a sack for you, for us to roll. Married to the money, introduced her to my stove. Oh, that's sexist. Showed her how to whip it. Now she remixing for low. She my trap queen. Let her hit the bando. We be counting up. Watch how far them bands go. We just set a goal. Talking matching Lambos. At 56 a gram. 100 grams though. Man, I swear I love her. How she worked that damn pole. Well, okay, now I'm starting to get it. Man, I swear I love her. How she worked that damn pole. Hit the strip club. We be letting bands go, rather. Everybody hating. We just call them fans, though. In love with the money. I ain't ever letting go. And then the chorus goes, and I don't know what the actual, beat is, so I can't sing it to the beat. But the chorus goes, and I get high with my baby, and I just left them all. I'm getting fly with my baby, yeah. And I can ride with my baby. I be in the kitchen cooking pies with my baby, yeah. And I can ride with my baby. My baby. Did he say my baby? I didn't catch that part. It resumes. I just left the mall. I'm getting fly with my baby. Yeah. And I can ride with my baby. I be in the kitchen cooking pies. Is the other verse the same? Well, we'll do this other verse, and I'll go to the other song that was recommended in a second. The first verse goes, I'm like, hey, hello, what's up? Oh, no, we already read that one. Is that the same? That's the same thing. Are these all the same thing? Oh, verse 2 is different. Verse 2 is, I be smoking dope, and you know backwoods what I... Wait, what? It's not backwards, it's backwoods. And it's capitalized. I be smoking dope, and you know backwoods what I roll. Remy boys, Fetty eating shit up. That's... I don't know if I should... I don't know. It's not a bad word, but I just... Okay, well, let's rewind that for a second. I be smoking dope, and you know backwoods what I roll. Remy boys, Fetty eating shit up. That's faux show. That's what it says. That is the lyric of what it says. And then it also says, I'll run in ya house, then I'll... This is not good. This is not PG shit. I'll run in ya house, not yours. It says ya, Y-A. It says, I'll run in ya house, then I'll fuck your hoe, because Remy boys are nothing. Remy boys are nothing, yeah. So that's how that song goes. Maybe we could do one more before we head on out of here. Yeah, there's a lot of my babies. I got that. I just haven't heard these songs. Super Bass by Nicki Minaj. I know who Nicki Minaj is. Candy Shop. I might have to do Candy Shop real quick. My baby, my baby. Yeah, my baby in parentheses. Johnny said Cody versus John Cena should be a chains match. Hopefully we get a rap battle between Cody and John Cena. A rap battle? Oh, God. Cody rapping would be basically as good as what I just sang. Oh, my God. That'd be awful. Cena rapping again. I don't know if he still has that. All right, let's check out Candy Shop. I know what the... I could probably give you a little bit more for that one. Candy Shop lyrics. I'll take you to the candy... Should I read it or should I sing it? Because I know this, like I know how it goes. I'll take you to the candy shop. I'll let you lick the lollipop. I don't know if I want to do that. That sounds a little weird. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep going until you hit the spot. Whoa, oh. That's how it goes, doesn't it? You can have it your way. How do you want it? We going back to that thing up? We gonna back that thing up, or should I push you on it? Break it down for you now, baby. It's simple. If you be a nymph, what is a nympho? What the fuck is that? If you be a nympho, I'll be a nymph. Is that a swear word? I don't want to say that again if that's a bad word. I don't know what that means. Got the magic stick. I'm the love doctor. Have your friends teasing you now. How about I sprung up? I got you. Want to show me how you work it, baby? No problem. Get on top, then get to bouncing around like your low rider. I'm a seasoned vet when it comes to this shit. After you work up a sweat, maybe you can play with the stick. I'm trying to explain, baby, the best I can. I melt in your mouth, girl. Fucking not in your hands. And then you go, I'll take you to the candy shop. I'll let you like the lollipop. Okay, we know what this is euphemism for. I'm not that dumb. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep going until you hit the spot. And that's how that goes. Maybe we can do the one more song on Daniel Malcolm said sing. We'll do Super Bass by Nicki Minaj. I'm imprisoned to the people, so if you keep giving me recommendations, I'm just going to keep going. I do have to get going here in a little bit. We've been going for a while. This stream is already 2.5 hours long, so we'll definitely wrap up in the next couple minutes. Nicki Minaj. I know Nicki Minaj. I don't know if I know this song, though. This one is for the boys with the booming system, top-down AC with the cooler system. Maybe this one's going to be fine. When he come up in the club, he be blazing up. He got stacks on deck like he's saving up. And he be ill, he real, he got him ideal. He pop bottles and he got the right kind of build. He cold, he dope, he might sell coke. He always in the air, but he never fly coach. He a motherfucking trip, sailor of the ship. But he make a drip, kiss him on the lip. That's the kind of dude I was looking for, and yes, you'll get slapped if you're looking for, or if you're looking hoe. Gotta get the hoe in there. It's like the WWE bitch. And then the chorus goes, I said, excuse me, you're hell of a guy. I mean, my, you're like a pelican fly. I mean, you're so shy, and I'm loving your tie. Love the rhyming here. You're like slicker than the guy with the thing on his eye. What the fuck are these lyrics? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Somebody please tell him who the FI is. I am Nicki Minaj. I mac them dudes up, back hoops up, and chuck the deuce up. So that's the pre-chorus. All right. So that might be the last one that we do. Might have to end up on that note. Cody has to be the most sympathetic babyface of all time. He's certainly up there. Richie says, obsessive, really? Yeah, no, she was obsessive with that My Baby shit. Oh, okay. Thank you, Fernando. Fernando said, Mimfo is a PC term for someone who sleeps around. Yeah, that how it was spelled the second time when you sent in your chat, that's how it was spelled in the lyrics. Nympho, okay, is a PC term for someone who sleeps around. Okay, I'll have to keep that. I'll have to start calling people nymphos now. Interesting. That's news to me. Johnny said, "What do you think is going to be the match in the night at Revolution?" Maybe Tony and Mariah, just because that feud is so big. What other matches are going on at Revolution? There's a lot of matches, I'm sure, but let's see. Revolution. Let's see. Oh, fuck, there's a lot of matches. Probably Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. MJF and Adam Page could be a banger, too. I don't think it's going to be Moxley and Cope. Maybe Storm and Mariah May. I'll go Ospreay and Fletcher. Their first couple matches were amazing. I'll go for that match as being the match of the night. And Swerve and Ricochet also feel like could be amazing, too. So, any one of those three, but I'll go Ospreay and Fletcher. Because we know what they're capable of. And then Fernando also said, how shocked were you when Seth turned on the Shield, and which heel turn for you was the worst? Like, what's the worst heel turn of all time? I mean, it's probably one we're not even thinking of because it was so bad. But, like, the Shield heel turn, the Seth Rollins heel turn, that was the most shocked I've ever been. I was way more shocked by the Rollins heel turn than I was by the Cena one, honestly. Like, that Shield one, they had just beaten the Authority the night before. They did not telegraph that at all. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not fucking thinking that. I was certainly not thinking that. That surprised the fuck out of me, and it ruined my birthday. Because it happened on June 2nd, which is my birthday. It closed out the show. That ruined my 19th birthday. So I was certainly not happy about that shit. And it was an amazing turn, though. That is certainly up there as one of the best of all time. Absolutely. For most shocking, I forgot to mention that one earlier. That might be 3 over Stone Cold. The Rollins one is one of the most shocking of all time. Oh, dude, Johnny, I forgot. Omega versus Kenosuke is also in the discussion. I forgot about that match. How the fuck did I forget? It's here on the Wikipedia page that I'm on, but I totally forgot about it. But yeah, Takeshita and Omega is also on that list of potential show stealers at Revolution this weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of Revolution, we'll be back here on Thursday. I'll be giving my predictions for the pay-per-view. Mr. Marceau will be on early. We're going live pretty early on Thursday at 8 a.m., around 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So join us then, right here on the channel for Wrestle Rant Radio, reviewing Elimination Chamber, talking Cena's heel turn, diving more into that. Io Sky, new Women's World Champion. I'll give my predictions for the AEW Revolution pay-per-view coming up this weekend, and any other news and notes that come up before Thursday. So join us then around 8 a.m. here on the channel. Set up the video once I schedule it and whatnot. But not only that, though, just be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, I would appreciate it. But also be sure to hit the bell button to be notified. Every single time we upload a new video, every single time we go live, you'll be notified. So if you want to find out when we're going live next here on the channel, I don't know about Saturday stream. I'm still debating what I'm going to do for Saturday, if I'll do a Saturday stream at all. But, we should be live on Thursday. We'll definitely be live on Thursday. Saturday, we'll see. Saturday, we'll be live around 8 a.m. Eastern Time if you want to join us live. If not after the fact, on all your usual podcast platforms. And I think that's about it, though. I think that's about it. So you'll be notified every time we go live if you do hit that bell button. Be sure to check out the t-shirt store, prowrestlingtees.com/WrestleRant. Buy a t-shirt, support the show. You have a Halloween shirt, Christmas shirt, regular shirt. I would appreciate if you could support the show that way. That's really about it. So if you want to send in a question to the show, you can do so by tweeting me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. Find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Graham.gsm.Matthews. Drop a comment on the post that I usually put up on Monday nights, if not on the wall itself. And also be sure to drop a comment on the comment section on this very video. I'll be sure to answer your question in next week's edition. And that's really about it. Johnny said, hopefully they don't add more matches to Revolution. I agree. Hopefully they keep it at what it is. And Daniel said, I had turned off the show before Seth turned heel because it had gotten so damn boring after Batista walked out with the Royal Rumble or with the Royal Wave in the beginning. I forgot about that. Totally forgot about that. So, yeah, I mean, that was the dog days of Raw. That was when it was fucking terrible. So, honestly, I don't really blame people for turning off that show before the Seth turn happened because it was so goddamn boring. Grunt, thank you for joining us. Fernando, thank you for joining us. Richie, thank you for joining us. Daniel, Johnny, everyone joining here on the show today that chatted in earlier, sent in a super chat, and just joined us for a good time or watching after the fact. I appreciate you guys. Have an awesome one. Until next time, folks, I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Have a terrific Tuesday, and I'll catch your ass down the road. See you guys.